Welcome to another episode of Dollar Dorks. This is episode 16. On this podcast, we aim to share video game buying and selling tips, give suggestions of games to watch for, provide tips on how to fund your collection with your collection, and hopefully change the perception that some people have of sellers in the video game collecting community. And with us today is my co-host, Chris, at CWR2, the Flea Market Ninja, as I've dubbed you now.
All right.
And we have our guest today, Chris, Bassguy 654. Everybody screwed me up by calling you Bassguy so much. We're gonna call you Christopher this episode if we can. I think you already said that was fine, so
yeah, it's okay.
Just so we don't confuse Chris and Chris. And I'm Derek of Two Dorks. So, Chris, what's been going on?
I'm assuming you're talking to me.
Yeah.
Because I blanked out on your introduction there. Sorry. Not much. Hey, did you guys go to GameStop today?
I went nowhere.
You should go to GameStop. You can buy those rare NES controllers. They just released them.
That are real rare.
3. Huh?
So rare you got 3.
Yeah, they're really rare. Yep. I guess, I don't know, I think the resale value on them are a lot lower this time. I didn't buy them to sell them. I want to keep one sealed, probably open one, and then I just bought the other one just because, I don't know, like, they're $10, so why not? But, so I'll probably trade it or something like that. But I guess the stores are getting like 3 to 5 a piece, something like that. But
You probably wait until Curtis says he needs one, right?
Curtis? Nah, Curtis don't need one. Curtis got his own connection. He works at a game store.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
all right.
Well, that's all right. I mean, amongst his acting duties.
Yeah, of course.
He's a big-time Hollywood actor.
High profile. Okay. So I'll start off with your last noteworthy pickup, deal, purchase, sale, anything like that. Anything you got that's interesting. And starting with you, Chris.
I don't know. Other than these 3 controllers, I hit 2. I don't know. I always forget what I told you last time. I don't know. I hit a couple of back-to-back Super Nintendo lots, and I got just a bunch of odds and ends, some Atari stuff. But I kind of took this month off. I really didn't do a lot. I mean, I went out. I mean, every time I went out, I got something good, but I've been really lazy. I broke all the rules. I haven't really been listing. Haven't got stuff to list, but
it's summer.
I've just been lazy. So, any noteworthy purchase? I don't know. I bought 3 Nintendo controllers today.
Yeah.
So, that was noteworthy.
Anyone watching can see them behind you, but anyone listening wouldn't know.
Just,
yeah.
Clickbait for your thumbnail.
Yeah. Well, then you already covered what you're doing with them, so that's all that.
Yeah,
I think the last episode you did talk about those SNESs you picked up. The one was a garage sale, I believe. Yep. Yeah.
They were both garage sales, as different ones. One was the man with his mom, and then the other one was I don't know. I can't even remember the other one, but yeah, they're all blending together at this point. But yeah, that's about it. What about you, Chris R? Is that what we're calling him?
Christopher.
What we call him? Christopher. Sorry, Christopher. Christopher. What about you?
You're both Chris R, so it doesn't help.
So
R.
So I bought so I picked up at a Goodwill one of the Xbox 360 Explorer Rock Band guitars for like $6. So hopefully I can flip that for some money. I've
got 4 of them built up to try and flip.
And I finally got a digital scale, postage scale, because I was like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep just looking at Amazon and trying to figure and sort of guess weights. That's a terrible idea.
No,
and you're gonna get screwed over on it.
Well, if you go down to the post office and you were off by a little bit, then now you're, it's inconvenience. It's better just to buy the postage through eBay.
So let's see what else. Let's see for selling. Let's see what do I have. I've picked up Pokey Park 1 and 2. I think I sold the first one. I sold a couple of repair manuals for I think last month. I think P90X. So just a bunch of random stuff.
I saw the P90X. I heard that it always carries its value.
Sometimes those got flagged. I think they
I
might have
thought
let
so
up
too.
on them. They used to get flagged under copyright. It's same thing with like Rosetta Stone and certain things like that where you buy these big DVD how-tos or exercise and stuff. They used to flag them. I don't know if they do anymore. The last time I looked them up, I saw a bunch of listings of P90X, so you're probably all right. But I remember there was a time when I looked them up and there was none, and that's never a good sign when it's a common product.
Yeah, that sounds like they've been pulled.
Yeah,
For sure. All right. And then you kind of covered what you're doing, selling and all that stuff. So, me?
What are you selling?
So, I picked up a funky Furby, Canadian exclusive Furby from 2006 that I had seen Bill had picked up, Bill from STC Pod. I saw one at a thrift store maybe a year ago, and I thought that's different because the lips on it are like a rubber, like a fake skin rubber, and so are the eyelids. I'm like, that's not a normal Furby. It's also a lot larger than normal Furby. So I looked it up at that time and thought, this could be worth something, but I'm not going to risk it. But then Bill had picked one up not long ago, and he actually sold his to someone in California for $80 Canadian. So mine here has a price tag of $5.99 on it. So I think if I pick it up for $5.99, I can sell it for $80. I'd be happy with that.
Oh yeah.
So that would be good. And I did try it. I was actually messaging Bill in store when I was there saying, did yours sell? Any tips, any info? And he had issues with the battery compartment, and it actually got returned.
Right.
And that's a long story, but that prompted me to try mine. I'm like, well, the battery compartment's a screw, so I can't get it open. I didn't bring a screwdriver, which I should have a kit ready on hand to do, but whatever. What are you gonna do? But I went to turn it on and it worked. There was already batteries in it, and it turned on. The batteries worked. So
now, do they mimic you or something and talk back?
It talks to you, so you can talk to it. It talks to you. It moves back and forth. Like the feet have motors in them that lift up. The ears have motors. The hair here has a motor. The eyes open and close. The mouth opens and closes, and it talks. Let me hear. I'm gonna turn it on. It should say something when it turns on here. You hear the motors going, yeah.
Yeah.
Its eyes are moving around. I don't know if it's a diagnostic or what.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. So sometimes it'll say, oh, there you go.
Eat me way. Ta-da! Me ooh bo me way.
No idea what it's saying. It speaks a mix of English and not.
Is does Furby have a gender?
I don't think they actually have a gender. I'm not sure, though. And it's Hasbro. Tiger Electronics and Hasbro, it says. 2006, this one's from. But there's a newer one, I think 2008, that's got a lot more technology in it. Like, it's got fur that can detect when you touch it. And we had one of those ones, but it's just so annoying because it doesn't ever stop. Yeah, and that newer one, you could pull the tail to shut it up. It would put it to sleep, but as soon as you made a noise, it would wake back up. It was annoying. No, not a noise. As soon as you bumped it. Yeah, they thought you were picking it up. Anyway, so that's what should be a good sell. He said it was a really active ad for him too, so hopefully that's good. I just need to figure out shipping and list it. I see sold listings. There's 4 of them. One is Bill's. One is $69.99. It sold for. And that sold just on the 30th, so like 5 days ago. And then the other ones were different colors, but they sold for $250 because they're Spanish version, apparently. Rarer.
They speak Spanish?
Apparently.
Right on.
Yeah. And that one doesn't even... Yeah, it is the same one. It's the one with the weird skin. Anyway. Moving on. What are you selling? So tell us something you have on eBay, Kijiji, Craigslist. I should probably put that in there. Next swap meet, anything like that you're consider selling soon. Starting with me. Well, I just talked about the Furby, but that's not very interesting. We already kind of talked about it. I had my eBay listings here. Actually, no, I'll save that for story time. But what I got? Move controllers, PlayStation Move controllers. I've got 2 of them on eBay as a pair.
What you selling them for? Like $20 a piece or what?
I have them listed for. They were listed for 65 Canadian, which I should just convert for you. But I just dropped it because I went to a
like
store the
$8.
other day. Sorry?
It's
$8.
like $8 American. Yeah. Go ahead.
I missed the joke. I was being too serious. 45 is what that is.
Right on. It's about $20 a piece, a little 20.
Oh, that's
plus
what
tax.
it's at now, is 60.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
at 65, which is 50 for the pair.
Right.
But it hasn't sold. They haven't sold yet at that. It could be because
Now,
of
do
the.
you have a PS4?
That's a story for a later time.
Okay. Well, but let's say you had one. Are you thinking about hypothetically getting the VR?
I'd consider it. I mean, I already have HTC Vive, which is VR for the PC,
Okay.
and that one is room scale, so I can walk around the room with it, and it'll.
I'd say that my point is, you might want to keep the Move controllers. I don't know.
Well,
hear they function
I
well
have
with them.
2 more already.
Oh, I see.
So I have 2 on eBay, and I just traded in 2. So I mean, yes, no, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I do know that they're kind of high in value because of PlayStation 4
Right,
VR.
because they were even before the VR came out, they were pretty much still selling for $20 a piece. I don't think they've actually increased in value. I just think they haven't lost value.
See, I saw them drop in value. I saw them dropping
I must have
before
missed the drop.
PSVR came out. At least at
And
swap
I
meets
believe
here.
That makes sense because more people gravitating to the PS4 if it had no use. But
Yeah, exactly.
I never saw the drop. Every time I sold them, I always popped them out for about 22, 20. I mean, just depending on the listings, 20 or
Gotcha.
25 a piece, and American. And I never noticed the drop, but I don't run across them too much. I just grab them when I can because people I don't think people know what they are. At least the people I get them from, they're probably. I usually pick them up at swap meets, and it's usually people who probably grab them from a storage locker. They know it's video game related,
Yeah.
but they don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm
so
pretty sure they say PlayStation or at least Sony
They
on
do.
them.
They say it on there somewhere, but they don't know what it's for.
Yeah.
And it's like $5 or less every time I come across them.
Nice.
This time they just happened to have been like she wanted $3 for both of them. So
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Huh. Yeah, it said swap meet. I meant Game Swaps for me, by the way. Just so you know, that's where I usually
Yeah,
see them.
yeah.
I picked one up at a Game Swap for $5. When the hell was that? A year ago?
What exactly is a game swap? Is that a store, or you mean like a meetup with people?
Like a meetup, like the very games,
Right,
very
very
game
games
exchange, that kind of thing. I think it actually was maybe the last area that I picked it up, or maybe it was Cambridge, but yeah. So that's something I got for sale anyway. 2 of those for $60 Canadian. There's 25 shipping on them because I figure they're going to be an awkward box shape. I don't do calculated shipping because in Canada it's shitty.
What Providence are you in? Is that
Ontario.
what you call them over there? Ontario?
Yep. Yeah, when we weren't recording before, you guys were talking about size, and I was going to tell you how big Ontario is, but I forgot to. But I was going to just fire it up. Let's say from one end to the other. So five and a half hours to get from one end to the other, and that's at the lowest point.
And that's like your whole state, Providence, whatever.
Yeah. But if I wanted to do one end to the other on the other
all
side,
right, I know this ain't really resale related, but how many Providences are there in Canada? Do you know?
I can't remember. I just fucking heard a show my kids were watching, and it said it.
How many states
2,
are in the United
4,
States?
6, 51, isn't there? I know that better than I know Canadian. Fucking
Well, it's 50, but
50, yeah.
50 technical states. I mean, if you count Canada and Virgin Islands and all that crap, they could be one, I guess. But it's 50 states. So it's weird that
Pretty sure
know
it's-
America, but you don't know Canada.
Yeah.
Not like a real Canadian.
I can't remember. It's like 11 or 12, 13, something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, we have.
I used to know.
I thought it was around 8 or 9. I'm pretty sure it's 9 provinces and 3 territories.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna take away your moose.
I don't know why it won't do fucking. Oh, you know what? There's no fucking road there. That's why it won't do navigation from one side of
That makes
Ontario to the
sense.
other.
It's Canada, no roads.
Well, it's like way up north, so it's like an 11-hour. No,
Well, I think Sean drove like
16-hour drive.
to
16-hour
very
drive
low.
across Ontario the long way, like the wide way, up high. Because Ontario's kind of weird shaped because of the lakes and Michigan to blame and stuff. Well, we span Minnesota, Washington, Michigan, and Ohio.
You guys are kind of like a boot, huh?
Kinda.
Yeah. I'm looking at you right now. They got you all outlined. You almost look like a boot, or I don't know. Well,
I thought you said
maybe
boob
not.
for a second there.
No, a boot, like a kind of like
Yeah.
Italy or something.
Italy,
Sort of. Not really, but I don't know.
All right, we're way off topic. Christopher, anything you got for sale you want to talk about?
So I bought a couple of OG Xboxes, and I'm trying to get rid of. And
Yeah.
the guy was, I think they call it an estate sale. I think he was just his parents were retiring. They got a couple kids. Their parents were retiring. They're selling off all their game systems that they left to their parents and stuff. And they sold off their OG Xbox, and it came with a Logitech wireless
Nice.
controller. And I know those come. I think it's just a throw-in. The guy just sort of said, "Take all this stuff. I don't want it." So I guess
Does it have the receiver for that too? Because I've never seen the white one. I've never seen the white EA Sports Logitech wireless. Nice.
So I think that goes for like $40 to $50. So
I think it might actually be more.
that's all I can find for
Okay.
as far as sold listings.
And was it the white one or not?
Yeah, it was the white one.
Oh, okay.
And I got this. I think it's the Halo 3 Covenant controller. I think at another swap meet.
Okay.
I think that goes for like $30 or something. I think I got it for $5. So I've bought like 3 Xbox 360s, and those seem like such a crapshoot. I bought one of the 4 gig models, and I fired it up, and there are a bunch of red lines across it. So I hope the GPU is not going south.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can clean it up and just maybe reflow the solder and get it working again. But I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze with that one. They're kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of think those aren't really worth it. Does it have HDMI at least? Because some of them didn't.
Yeah, it does. That one guy, I think, and I have a Pro 60 gig, and that thing's, I think some guy lowballed me today on eBay. So I don't know that. And then he's like, "Well, can you just sell the console and the power brick?" And I said, "No."
Oh man. Huh. Yeah, I haven't picked up 360s except for my own. I have one down here which is I think it's the slim model. It's not the E model, which I think is like a super slim type thing, which is more square. Pretty sure that's the E model. Should just double check. But there was the originals, which is usually white but not always, and then the E and the slim. Where is images? Yeah, the E is the square looking one, which I heard they removed the optical audio out on it as well. And then there's the slim. So I have 2 slims, and I have one that's the original style, but I think it's like a Halo green one or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't really sold any. That Halo one I have to sell. A buddy of mine just gave it to me and said, "Here, do whatever you want." So, but there's no Wi-Fi on those ones as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about soft modding it, but I don't know if I want to go through the trouble.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I have the little adapter for the joypad, but to USB, but I haven't done anything with it. So.
Yeah.
Well, according to Google Maps, you got 13 states or provinces.
Yeah, see, 3 of them are considered territories, that's all.
Right, you got New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and Nova Scotia. They don't look like they count, but maybe they do.
They do.
I don't know.
They do.
Okay, what about this Newfoundland and Labrador or whatever that is?
Yeah, that is one as well.
Okay, so that's yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Go ahead. Go back to. I was just
if you don't
that update in case if people were wondering.
If you don't count Nova Scotia, I think a bunch of P1, P2 might not appreciate that.
Yeah, if you don't count Nova Scotia, they're out.
They're so
Yeah,
close
Nova
to the
Scotia's
states.
like-
They should just move into Maine.
Nova Scotia's bigger than Massachusetts. It's like 4 times the size of Massachusetts. Maybe twice the size. Will be generous.
I'd say twice. Maybe 2.5. Looking at this
compare it to
map
Connecticut.
anyway.
I don't know. It looks.
Yeah, but if
Connecticut's
you
tiny.
compare anything to New Hampshire, I mean, come on, New Hampshire's like a fucking sliver here compared to these other states.
Yeah.
Why I just think that like some of the Canadian club members are going to be like scuffling with Chris on this on Twitter. They're just going to get like inundated with tweets.
But when I'm looking at the way this map was, now what the hell were we thinking? We got to Maine. Why didn't we just take New Brunswick and all that shit? Like, we could have just rounded it right off.
I'm guessing it was settled first because Nova Scotia.
Fuck that! Oh, and then the United States wasn't settled when we got here? Come on. There was like 50 Native American tribes with different
okay,
territories.
I mean by British.
Whatever. We listen to them. Anyway, go ahead. Off topic, I guess.
No, not at all. All right, Chris, you're next. What do you got? Anything you got selling that's interesting? You said you didn't pick up anything new or list anything new.
I haven't listed anything new.
All right, then just talk about Barney and Baby Bop.
I did relist Barney and Baby Bop. It expired. I always get a bunch of views on it. They're not in great condition, but I mean,
is there a reason why you let them expire instead of good till canceled?
I like renewing my things. I like popping it back up in the order. Like,
yeah,
I like to let it refresh every 30 days on its own. Expire, refresh, and then it'll do that 3 times, which you'll get 3 months, and then that's it. Then you got to relist.
Mine don't auto refresh at all. Is that part of your store?
No, actually, I take that back. No, you know what? Yeah, because when you're finishing up, there's a little button that you could click that says relist up to 3 times.
Maybe I just assumed that had a fee.
No, it can have a fee. It can have a fee. Let's say, okay, I assume you don't have a store, correct?
Nope.
So then you go buy the 50 free listings, correct?
Yep.
So if that relisting kicks you over that 50 free listing by the end of the month,
gotcha,
then it's going to cost you 30 cents.
Okay.
But it's going to cost you more money not to sell it. So I don't know. I don't mind throwing them 30 cents every now and then. I can live with that. That means I did good. If I'm past 50 listings in a month and I feel like I've had a great month, and I don't mind throwing them a few extra dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, they're providing a pretty great service. I think people take eBay for granted considering what exactly they do.
The insertion fee is like, what, 35 cents or something like that?
It's not much. And well, maybe for rookies like you, man, it's 30 cents for me.
Yeah, I don't have a store. I'm not a power seller.
I'm not a top-rated seller.
I'm a top-rated seller. I don't want to brag, but very important at eBay. Oh.
All right.
No, but I like to let it I like to refresh it to let it renew, and I don't know if there's any science behind it, but I have noticed it feels like when something refreshed, well, I don't even think there's any science to it. It's a fact. When something's new, you're going to get fresh eyes on it because it's going to get kicked to the top of the list if somebody's looking for newly listed items. So with that being said, I like to refresh it. Plus, I also like to instill people a sense of fear like it's going to expire.
I thought about that as well, yeah.
There's only 8 days left. You either buy it now in 8 days. I don't know if this guy's going to relist it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I've had it happen that way where something expired and I still contacted the seller and then I got rid of it locally or whatever. So
okay.
I don't know. I think there's something to that, letting it expire, letting people have that sense of urgency. It's impulse buy, put them under the gun, especially if they happen to stumble across it within the last few hours. And I've sold things at the last 20 minutes before. Like, I was surprised. I didn't think it was going to sell, and it just popped. So, I don't know. Caught some impulse buyers. I don't know if there's anything that backs it up. I just know it works for me, and I don't like the list until expired thing. I don't know. Or never expire. I like refreshing it.
Okay. Yeah, I've thought of the same thing. I think I actually had 2 things that expired I didn't realize. Yeah, my Game Gear inbox games. And those ads are gone now. I have to rewrite them. I still have pictures.
Oh, you let it go for 30 days or whatever?
I must have. I don't even remember. I don't know.
You might still be able to find it, though. Up to 6 months, it should be in the completed. Because it did complete, it just didn't sell.
But it doesn't show in mine. It doesn't show in mine at all, but I wonder if it's searchable.
Well, what I mean is look it up and look it up under completed, not sold, but completed, and you should be able to find your ad and then just clone it and use pictures. It should let you still use the same picture.
I should try that. What is it?
It should hold it for 6 months. So
I'm curious, but I don't want to bore everybody. I'm doing completed and see if it shows up. Yeah, everybody's already bored. There's one in box, but that's not my photos. Nah. It's not a very common game, and I don't see it. I don't know. Maybe I just never actually listed it, but I'm pretty sure I did. Pretty sure. Anyway, moving on. So, tip corner. Any buying or selling tips to share, or anything people do during the deal that annoys you, or where to find deals? Christopher, you're first.
So I guess when I start out on eBay, I guess I start out with what I knew. So I started selling games, and I actually sold off. I had an original i7 board, a motherboard, and some other stuff I sold a while ago to help pay for my new rig, I think a couple years ago. So I would say, so don't be afraid to think outside the box. If you find something that looks cool and it's only like a couple bucks, you may as well take a chance on it. But then again, I did find something that so I did find like I think it was a spicy shelf, like a spice rack organizer, and and then I put I made the mistake of, well, I didn't do my research, so I bought it for $5, but then I sold it for about $16, and I did free shipping. So I only made like less than $3 on it. So I'd be careful about that stuff.
All right.
Now, out.
But I mean, was there any other benefit to it? Did you get like a feedback on it or anything?
No, and I made the mistake of changing the shipping, so that's another thing I would not do. If you put priority in the listing and a priority, she was cool about it, but that's not a. But I sent something FedEx. I think I forget. It's the cheapest FedEx option.
Like
and then
or something.
Yeah, and then parcel select or some garbage.
Shit. Yeah.
And then I think then they weren't updating the status of it, and I was checking, and then I was like, oh crap, and it's been like 8-9 days, and then she said, oh no, I got it, and after I think like a week, and then I panicked and called FedEx, and then they got back to me and said it was delivered, and it was a screw up on their end. So, but
so how's your feedback right now? How are you doing on that?
It's kind of slow going. I think I've only gotten, let's see, so I've sold like 14 things in the last 31 days, and I don't think I've gotten more than like 4 or 5 feedback people.
How much feedback do you have overall?
Let's see, I think I think it's only showing about 12. Let's see, it's a seller, so about
it doesn't matter. Whatever the
overall,
number
like
is.
even including
overall,
buyer.
like, do you have 151? Do you have 200? Do you have 8? What's that number next to your star up there?
Oh, it's like 277. So.
Oh, okay, that's good. That shows, even if not even that many, or most people don't click on the thing to segregate it to see how many are actually sellers or buyers. As long as it's positive and you got a decent number, which 200 and something is not great, but it's definitely better than 12 or something. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's a good start. I mean, you get your money instantly now when they pay you. Have you gotten to the plateau yet?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't been. Yeah, I think I got off the probationary period that they give. That
right.
They put on.
You have to sell, like, I think it's 20 completed transactions and $400. I think it could be more, it could be a little less, but I thought, at least when they upgraded me, that's what I think it was. I think it was a 400 plateau or 500, and it's really nice not having to wait that 20 days for your money.
Let's see, any other tips? So I would say, if you have any, like, if you're handy, I'd say if you can fix something, if you pick something up cheap and fix it cheap, do it, and you can increase the value of something. So, like modding it, like I bought 3 DMG 001 Game Boys, and I'm gonna probably put a backlight and bivert on those and increase the value of them. Let's see, what else? And I would say try to take a multifaceted approach to selling and buying. So, like, sometimes, like, some games just aren't worth your time or just the time, so you're better off just going to GameStop. I think I have an East Starland that kind of overvalue games, so you can get like 70 to 80% of that trade in value for cash if you need it, or you can use it
That's actually, they give you 80% of the trade-in value in cash?
I think Eastern does 70%. I think
That's actually very good.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who usually goes over 50 or 40. I mean, or at least around here, they don't give you, they are always trying to push the store credit.
But if you
That's actually excellent.
If you have a big lot of stuff, I think East Starland will pay for the shipping. So if you want to ship it out to Northern Virginia, then that's a way to go. But I think.
Do you know Jason that used to work there? I think he went by Snessalja or something like that.
No,
I know him from Instagram. Anyways, I used to know an employee that worked there, and it was really cool. He hooked me up several times. Really good guy. Anyways, off topic, I guess, but.
Actually, I think they only do cash in person. But I think if you can get, they do have good credit value if you want to if you want to go that route. So you can send stuff to them.
Cool.
What else? Let's see. I guess use your own supplies. So like, I think I was talking to Chris about that. You want to use your own boxes, and if you get the air packets and your packing peanuts, newspaper, that type of thing, and sometimes you can even get from work. You might be able if they're so.
In my work, I'll give a little. I mean, kind of piggybacking off of your tip. When at my job, they had replaced all the lighting fixtures in the building to like put them more energy efficient. And all the lights and everything came in like all this big styrofoam. Like it was just tons of styrofoam, right? Long stuff, fat stuff, skinny, like just tons of it. And they was super convenient about it too, because everything they got, they stuck it in a big plastic bag and tied it into a knot, and they were getting ready to throw it all out. And I saw that stuff and I was like, man, that'd be like excellent package filler. Like I'll just grab all that shit and throw it in my garage. They thought I was crazy, but man, that stuff is paid for itself, and it didn't cost me anything. But it's like there's so many times, like I sent out a big sell. What did I sell recently? That was a big item.
I've been trying to find.
That Pokemon standee. I used tons of that stuff to fill space in it so it wouldn't get bent. And then, of course, you can't be afraid of, like, building a box, too. Like, sometimes you're just not going to find the box that's going to fit. So, I mean, it's going to look ugly. It's not going to look pretty, but it really doesn't matter. If the structure's sound, who cares? Like, the box that I sent with that Pokemon thing in it must have been the ugliest thing that person received. But I tell you what, I didn't get any negative or no bitching. They took it. So, I didn't want any feedback from them at all. I mean, if they sent me a positive, obviously that's great. But I didn't want to hear from them, like, I saw when it delivered, right? And I'm just like, okay, it's been there for 2 hours. You know what I mean? It's like they've had to open it by now. Like, I didn't know if it was going to make it. But definitely, man, if you could scoop up peanuts or airbags, I mean, especially if you work in a factory or an office building, I mean, that shit should be readily available to you. Even if you got a dumpster dive at your own place, I mean, you don't probably have to get too deep. They usually put stuff like that in recycle bins anyway. I'd snag all that stuff up.
I guess if you're desperate, you could go to U-Haul. They always have a bunch of custom boxes that are they sell in singles. But
yeah, but it'd have to be for me. It'd have to be a pretty good purchase. Like, I mean, a couple $100 item and a big abnormal item for me to want to go through that much trouble. But
for bubble mailers, I go to the dollar store here and I get a pack of 3 of them for $1.25.
Yeah. I got lucky and I hit it at I came across like a big like box of them at a yard sale of bubble mailers. I bought like 300 of them for like $3 or $4. Yeah, I was just like, how much do you want for these? And they're like, like 10 cents a piece. And I was like, I don't even want to count all this. Like, what do you just want for whatever? I don't even know what it adds up to. What do you want for that? And they're like, I don't know. How's $3 sound or something like that? I'm like, all right, whatever. Here, like $3. That's your goal. I want to do that. I mean, that's a lot of wasted effort for $3.
Yeah, I'm looking for bubble wrap or packing peanuts lately. I gotta try and find a good deal for that.
And man, anytime I buy something and it comes like when they send me, because think about it, like packing peanuts was like the cancer of society. Everybody hates packing peanuts, but I understand why they exist. I mean, those bubble, the airbags are really great too. And they're perfect for small items and small boxes because they really do help that. But when you got a big item in a big box, man, nothing beats the packing peanuts. You dump a bunch of that crap in there and forget it. Send it off.
But I was going to say also on a related note, like if you send stuff, make sure it's packed properly, especially like electronics and like if you send a printed circuit board, like if you part out like an NES or your own computer, send it in an ESD bag, or people are going to give you negative feedback.
Especially if you put it in packing peanuts. Static.
Yeah, sort that out.
And I guess just I guess if when you're starting out, just be persistent and sort of and just remember you're going to. I know I'm not going to call Joe out from STC, but I think it's a common complaint. Like when you go to yard selling, you're going to strike out occasionally.
Yeah.
You're gonna strike out more than you don't, or you're not doing it right.
So, but
you're not going into it. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're not striking out at least 50% of the time, you're not going to enough yard sales. You should be striking out tons of times every weekend, because that means you're going to a bunch of yard sales. If you're only going to 3 or 4 yard sales, you're probably only gonna unless you just got lucky on one of the 3. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of disappointment. That's why it's called a hunt. You know what I mean?
Go to the garage sales thinking I'm not gonna find anything good. I go with my family and we look for stuff for us. If I find game stuff, bonus. If I find something to sell, even better.
Right. Yeah, I usually go to community yard sales, and then along the way, if I see a standalone yard sale, I go in. That's usually how I map mine out. Yeah. So I'll usually, and then
anybody who's listening, know I'm all about the yard sale. To me, yard sales is supreme. Like, you're cutting out the retail factor, and anytime you can cut out a middleman is a great deal. You know.
I did have a story. One lady was selling, I think, her kids, Xbox 360 games, and I think she had on a table, said like everything on there was $1, and I picked up a stack of 5, and I said, "Would you do $1 on this?" And then I'm not even thinking. She sold me the 5 games for $1 instead of $5, and then I wandered away. And as I was walking away, she was telling her daughter like, "Oh, I guess so and so is gonna be mad at me for selling that for so cheap." So I don't know. I've had some luck. I've had a lot of luck at yard sales. Thrifting's kind of another story. Thrifting's usually is very hit or miss for me. So.
With the garage sale thing, it reminds me of my first Xbox 360 Slim. I went to a garage sale and they had it sitting there. They had no price on it, which always makes me annoyed and not want to ask. But I asked anyway, and she's like, "I don't know, like $100." I'm like, no, I won't go near that. So I think I started walking away, and she's like, "Well, how much were you thinking?" And I think I said something like $20, and she had argued or said, no, we can't do that. And I don't know how it worked out, but eventually we got down to $35 for the Xbox, 2 controllers, and a Kinect. And the Xbox was in great condition and had a hard drive in it. I can't remember what size. No, it didn't have a drive in it.
So now, when you told her, when you broke the news to her and hit her with such a low price, how did you say it? Did you just say I was thinking $20 all blunt, or
sorry?
Did you say it blunt like you just said it right now, or do you?
So I was already like, no, I don't want to. Like, I was set in my mind, she's too high, I'm not going to bother, right? And so I had started walking away. It's like, no thanks, I'm fine. And then she said, well, how much were you thinking? And I was already walking away, so I was pretty casual with I was thinking more like $20. You know what I mean, like that kind of thing. So I wasn't holding back, and I wasn't sugarcoating it, but I was saying like, this is why I walked away, because we're so far apart.
Totally understand.
Right?
Far apart.
Yeah.
See, and I like to, obviously the situation worked out for you. I mean, 35 sounds like a pretty good deal. But in that situation, when I find like we're that far apart, I try to lighten it up by kind of like smiling and laughing about it and being like, I just think we're too far apart. And I'd hate to insult you. And I give them all that. And I don't care if I insult them, but I mean, I tell them, I don't want to insult you. The
last, so when she finally agreed to my price, or to 35, I think it was, pretty sure it was 35, might have been 25. I have to check my spreadsheet. But when she finally agreed to the price, the low price, she actually said, "You're kind of cute. You can have it for that." So it was like being friendly and being nice worked out, right?
Was the other dork there, or
no? My wife was in the car. And she was like 45, 50 some years old, probably actually 60 years, 50 something years old. So,
You know how much action happens at the old folks' home? It doesn't stop.
And my wife was in the car, and so were my kids.
Well, all right. No, I didn't mean it like you should have took her up on it. I was just meaning, what was her reaction if she heard that? That's all.
Because the 360s, people are giving them away. I think I got one for $5, one for $10, one for $15. People just don't want them. It's like
I got one for $2, and I really didn't even want it because they kept saying like, "Well, I'm not sure it works." I was like, "Well, then what am I going to do with this?" And like, I don't know, just give me $2. I need $2 for I don't know. They need a pack of cigarettes or something, or to get them to where they needed to be. And I was like, "Yeah, I guess." And then I didn't even want to mess with it. Like I instantly regretted it. I don't know why, because it was such a cheap price. But I was just like, I need to get rid of this, and I ended up driving over to a local game store, just like flipping it to them for like $20 and. But it was like an early Model 3. I mean, it wasn't like a big resale on it, you know. And I think it had like one controller or something. But I remember thinking later on, I should have just kept that thing. I don't have no Xbox 360. I've never played any games on it, so I thought that would have been a cheap way to get in. But oh well, next time.
The reason I had thought of my story also was because she said my son's gonna be pissed off because I sold this. That's where Christopher's story came, and it reminded me of that. All right. Well,
you're cute, and she sold you her kids. She must want you, man.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break.
Hello, I'm Eric from the Mighty Q Dog channel. Here in the Q Dog house, we accept only the highest level of quality, which is why we listen to the Polykill podcast. Twice a month, hosts Caleb and Scott break down the video game issues of the day, offering...
It's not the one with Caleb.
What?
It's not the one with Caleb and Scott.
It's not the one with Caleb?
Polykill has Travis and Jake.
Who?
Travis and Jake.
Who the Swayze are Travis and Jake? Yeah, okay, I got it. Yahoo! Listen to the Polykill podcast with hosts
Jake and Travis.
Get in on the
Topic of discussion.
With Polykill, you'll want to just
Beat it.
And we're back. So moving to the next section is story time. Anyone has a story to tell, failures, lessons learned the hard way, anything like that? Chris, you're up.
Stories to tell, hard lessons. I was thinking about making a YouTube channel, right?
Recently or in the past?
No, yeah. I've been inspired lately. Total original idea, though. You know what I mean? Totally original. Huh?
You should get a new laptop.
Get a new laptop for the editing. But yeah, I want to start a YouTube channel where like it chronicles, me yard selling, and I got the perfect name, totally original name too. You want to know what it is?
Flea Market Madness.
No, you're the worst, man.
My life in collecting.
I was gonna say my life in yard selling.
There you go. Okay.
I'm totally gonna do it too. You got to be original, man. You got to come up with something really original. And I've never seen a YouTube channel saying my life in yard selling, so I think I'm gonna do it. Hold a new perspective on the game.
Thankfully, most of our listeners are Cartridge Club people and will know what the hell we're talking about.
Are you actually going to do that? Because I think you can get like those little spy glasses.
I am. I'm going to do it. I'm going to name it My Life in Yard Sale. I'm going to shave my head. Start working out more. Hang out at the gym a lot more than I do.
Watch some guys
hang out in the locker rooms. Seeing those old man balls.
Yep.
Seeing people air dry their balls and blow dry their balls.
Start getting irate with Derek here.
Well, I mean, hey, that's if that's what happens, man. The way it goes. Anyway, how about you, Derek? Do you have a story to tell? You got something new?
So I have all this crap still sitting here from when I sold at Barry. And I've been going through it slowly, listing some of the better games on eBay, and things have been selling not bad, and it's been going good. But I just took a bunch of the junk, the stuff I don't think is going to sell easily, or I don't want to bother with, or just I wanted to see how much they were going to give me for it. And I took it into a store locally to me, and I walked in with like a box or a bin full of stuff and walked out with a PS4. So I now have a PS4. So
I guess I ruined that earlier.
1
My
terabyte
bad.
PS4 Slim. No, you didn't ruin it because you didn't follow up afterward. You were like, oh, okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, because I pick up on hints, Derek.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got a PS4 and got rid of a bunch of junk. It was mostly like meh games, 2 Wii remotes, like I said, 2 Move controllers. There was also a DSi in box, and there was a new 3DS, not XL, the one with the covers on it. It's really not very common, but it's the Super Mario Land version, Super Mario 3D Land version. I kind of wish I kept it, but they gave me $90 for it, so I'm not going to complain too much. I overpaid for it when I got it, but I sold off all the games that came with it, so... Plus, it's just been sitting here. My other 3DS is sitting over there, not an XL. Sorry, a 3DS XL, not new one, sitting back there, just fucking...
You're not using it.
Yeah, I'm not using
I'll
it.
tell you right now, since I got my Switch, I only went back to my 3DS for the portable, CC portable. That was it.
Yeah.
I haven't turned it back on since. And I love it. It's a fucking amazing system, but
Yeah. But I don't need 2, and...
no.
Wouldn't have any luck selling off the older one, so might as well sell off the newer one and get some money while I can. Yeah, so I don't remember what else there was, but there was a bunch of stuff, and I got $300 worth of credit and traded in. And at that store, some stores do this, some don't, but when you trade in, you save the tax there. Whatever value you bring in, you don't pay tax if you trade for something, as long as you use it that day. If you put it as store credit and you hold it on your account, you can't do that. You have to pay tax.
So then they're actually doing it almost like a legitimate trade.
Exactly.
When you're there. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. And no other stores in the area seem to do that, or maybe one of them does.
What's the name of the business again? Did you say EB?
No, this one's Microplay.
Oh, Microplay.
They are a chain, but I don't know if they're also in the States or not. I'm just trying to see if they are a Canadian company or not.
I like that joke.
Based in Montreal, I think.
To your left there. My cousin drew that on a napkin. Yeah.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, the other dork, gave me this. It's pretty cool. Joker
How many total dorks are there?
There's only 2.
No, but you and your wife are thrifty dorks, though, right?
That's true. That is true. So I guess there's 4.
There's at least 3 dorks.
3.
Right?
And I wanted to have a special episode with me and my brother-in-law Tony called 2.5 Dorks and have my son on.
Oh, so that would have been fun.
Yeah, we never did. We would have had to play Skylanders or Mario or something for him. He's actually getting pretty good at games. It's kind of ridiculous, actually.
So, for the record, it's 1 Canadian dork and 1 American cool guy on the podcast, though, right?
$1 cool guy?
Right? Yeah, 1 guy from the States and 1 Canadian dork.
Sure. You can tell yourself that.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Look at the wall behind you. You're a dork. Sorry.
No. That's a collector. That's different.
All right. That was my story. Christopher?
Oh, so I went on to, let's see, Too Many Games. I bought some stuff. But I think, let's see, after I got back from there, I went to Toys R Us and bought a bunch of, I guess they were clearing all the rest of their inventory. And they had a, let's see, Guitar Hero Live bundle for like $4. Yep. So I bought like 3 of them. And I think I was going to buy them all. And I think I felt a little guilty because people behind me were saying, like, are you buying all of these?
Was that on Wii U or PS?
It's for the 360.
Oh, okay.
So, trying to think of it.
I see a lot of those for Wii U around my area. I think Dollarama got them, the dollar store, and they are selling them for $4. And we missed it. I just didn't see any coming around me directly, but in Toronto they did. But I picked one up later at a thrift store, sealed. So
I'll probably unload those at some point, but I don't have the right size boxes, so I'll have to either make some or buy some cheap ones. I trying to think.
It is a fun game though. Have you played it at all? You don't have it, or didn't keep one for you?
I didn't keep one for me. I think my friends and I were into it for a little while, and then I think they got kind of bored with it. And I couldn't get them to play anymore if I wanted to.
So what was your childhood system?
The NES.
The NES.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
Did you had one when you were a kid, or you just borrowed it off people, or how'd that work?
I think I had one. I think when we finally got rid of it, I think I had like 30-something games for it or something.
Damn, that's actually impressive.
I think between 25 and 30 probably. Well, I think my dad was pretty successful engineer. So like every time I got good grades, I'd go out. They got so annoyed with me. I'd say, "Can I get an NES game from Kitty City?" And then we go out there and get something like Boy and His Blob or something. Mm-hmm. I think it was one.
I can't even remember the situation, but you totally made me remember something. Like I used to, when I would have a chance to get something, always get something similar. And at one point they're like, "Don't you want something else?" I was like, "No, that's what I fucking want." I can't remember what it was. It might have been games or something. I don't know. I just remember that conversation. Anyway,
That's funny.
I don't know how funny it is, but
It reminds me a bit. I did something similar to that at one point. I can't remember if it happened again or not, but it was G.I. Joes for a while there. Every time I get some money, I'd go and buy a G.I. Joe.
yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
What else were you saying, Christopher?
Yeah, before I really cut you off with sidebar questions that Derek hates.
I don't hate them. I just feel the need to rein them in every once in a while. That's all.
No, we got to sidebar it. You should change the name to the podcast to the Sidebar Hour, and we
Chris's
just
sidebar.
have a series.
That's
of
the name of your
sidebar
videos.
questions.
Your YouTube. Chris's sidebar.
Right. Well, I'm
And collecting.
I think life and my sidebar.
My life and sidebars?
Sidebar. Yeah, my life and sidebarring. That's another thing. I'm making that channel too.
You can make Joe punch his laptop. Let's see. I was just gonna say that my area is kind of transient. Like we have a lot of government workers that come in and out, out of the area. So it seems like there are always plenty of moving sales and stuff in our area. So, but
that's good.
Trying to think. I think I still need to sell that Soda Stream. I think I was asking you guys about it. This has a CO2 cartridge. I'll have to go to the post office and ask them about the CO2 cartridge.
To me, I would be nervous about it. I think I had mentioned it to you, or I might have talked about it. I had sent out some. I'd sold some little paints that were like pressurized, and like as soon as I sent them off, I just had a bad feeling. But they got there okay. But I just kept thinking, man, if these damn things explode on a plane or something, like. Does that fall into terrorism or something? You know what I mean?
I think you get a hefty fine. I think if something like that happens.
I don't even want to know. Like I was thinking, man, this is like a $7 item. What? Like I should just throw all this stuff in the garbage. I paid $1 for it all. Like I don't know what I'm thinking. I guess I could just switch it to ground shipping and make sure it's ground. I think ground should be fine. I think it's just the pressure. But even ground shipping, and there must be a time they must go on a plane, right? I mean, it could all be ground, is it? All the way, I guess.
They could probably just put on a semi truck or something.
Right, if it was within the state, but I mean, they're going to drive a truck all the way across the country, I guess, right?
Yeah, they do.
They do. Yeah. All right. Well, maybe I'll just ship it ground. There you go. There's a tip. Don't send your CO2 cartridges air.
I would think they actually might be okay because they're already pressurized, but I don't know.
I don't know, man.
The storage compartment, I guess, maybe isn't pressurized though.
In the post office, it clearly states there's a little chart there, and it talks about sending pressurized items, and you know.
I
think one of them
probably just
actually
call the post
specifically
office too.
mentioned paint, and I was like, "Oh, that shit that I just mailed out." Like, oops.
Something annoys me. I guess I have had a couple of times is people selling stuff. They'll go to like a local shop and then they'll price things the same as that shop, as like a game store. I've had that happen before.
At the yard sale, or
at the yard sale, and I think I had another guy that was trying to sell like his game collection, and then I think everything is marked up to like eBay prices, and I just looked them over, and they weren't even good titles.
If there was something you really wanted, I think there's an argument there to be made. Like, look, you're not paying fees, so you can drop it down to at least 10, 20% there. And then on top of that, there's no warranty, so you can drop it because of that. And then it hasn't been cleaned, it hasn't been tested. There's no name behind it. I can't come back and return it. All that kind of stuff I've had people, or I've said that to people before, like, this isn't a game store,
Right.
I don't think I've ever bought anything from someone like that, but I've made the argument, maybe even just in passing. Yeah.
I try to take I use those same points that you made, but I really try to ease them in. Like, if it's something I really want and I'm really trying to negotiate it, and I feel like they're entrenched in their eBay price at the yard sale, I don't know. I think I try to strike up a conversation that has nothing to do with the item. I don't know, whatever it is. I figure something out. Start bullshitting with them, find some common ground, and then once I've kind of buttered them up, be like, man, you can't do a little better than that? Like, what about this? And I'll hit them with the number or something. I mean, that's annoying because I've gone to yard sales where they actually have the printed out paper, of the eBay listing, and I'm like, so, sometimes I'll explain to them the differences between sold and listed, and, but I don't know. It really has to be worth my time to go through the trouble. It has to be something I want, but it's very annoying. It's like, well, I mean, then sell it on eBay.
We were at a garage sale not long ago, I think 3 months ago or so, and the guy had a lawnmower, and he had the frickin' Amazon listing printed out on it. Like, it's a used lawnmower versus a brand new one. Like, get a fucking clue, buddy. Yeah, it was ridiculous. We just walked away. They had like the listings on, I think 3 or 4 items at the garage sale. We're just like, come on, man. We just walked away. Well, that's the best thing that can happen is the person just doesn't sell the shit and they end up donating it to a thrift store anyway.
Because I think even when I was at Too Many Games, I think I sent Chris a picture of like 3 manuals that he wanted for NES manuals he wanted, and that guy was people. I've had so many people at I don't know what they do at the SoCal Retro, like how the vendors are at SoCal, but Retro Game Expo. But some of those guys they'll say like, "Hold on, let me look it up."
Right.
They're going through. They do that
through the listings.
And I think the guy must have done that for the manuals. I should Chris because Chris saw the prices and he was like, nah.
Well, the thing is I felt like there was probably some room to negotiate. I mean, there was one I was like, I would take that, but I don't know. I didn't want to put you through any trouble. I appreciated it. I was just hoping like there was like a $1 bin or $2 bin because they always seem to have something like that, and then I could just pick up some scrap manuals that I need. I mean, it was mostly Duke. I mean, Duke passed off the chore to you, which that was nice of Duke. But that was my own fault. I hadn't got back to him in time. When I did, he's like, "Oh yeah, we're already home." I'm like, "Oh, I thought you were going for a couple of days." I didn't know. Anything. Oh, sorry, Duke.
I think there are only like three vendors that even had them, so it was fine.
Yeah, well, whatever. It didn't matter. Like, I mean, I appreciated the effort and stuff, but
Let's see.
And Christopher, did you want to mention you've been selling on eBay lately, and is there anything that kicked that off, or how's it been going? What's your plans going forward?
So I'm still kind of feeling it out just because I've done it in the past, but then it wasn't a veteran seller, so you kind of have to, sometimes you have to mark things down a little bit if you want to move it or some occasionally, and like if you really want it sold quickly, so but like you might have to sell a little cheaper than the lowest price in the sold listings, but I'm trying to think. I think I have some stuff that's getting a lot of views, but I have, and some of these have watchers, but I think I probably just have to wait it out for other stuff that's that has the same description to sell before it sells, because it's marked at or around or slightly above what they're asking. So I guess it feels like sort of patience is a virtue with eBay. You kind of have to wait and see. You might have to wait for other things to sell before your stuff sells.
How are your photos? Is it possible they're scaring people away, or you've done good photos?
That's something I'm not sure of. They're okay. I wouldn't say they're great. So that's a problem. I try to get them decent lighting, but then some of them are just I probably need to go back and take the photos. Honestly, a couple of these
Really,
things.
I think lighting. I think that's probably my number one thing for it. Like if you get something well lit, it really makes a big difference. It don't have to be perfect lighting. Stick shit. Sometimes I'll do the listings right outside. Like it doesn't really matter. I think. I mean, you can stage it. Like I have, like I don't know, like poster boards, stuff like this, where I could put like a bottom and a top, and I could do that kind of stuff. And sometimes I do,
but on the couch though.
I don't care because I know I've never noticed a difference. You know what I mean? Like,
but lighting makes sense because you want to represent the colors correctly.
You have to be able to see it, right? And I try to. I mean, some things don't need 12 pictures, but if I can give them 12, I'll give them the whole 12. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, a game I typically do the game like in a case, for example, like let's say a CD-based game. I do the front, I do it open, I do the back of the disc. Right. Sometimes I'll do the manuals if there's several of them. I'll spread them out, do another picture of that, then the back, and that's usually my photo. Now I see a lot of people recently will take the game, open it up, pull the manual up, put the disc out, lay it all out for their main photo.
Right.
So when people are scanning through, they see it's complete.
Yeah,
I've
and
never noticed
like
those
that.
sell better or anything like that. But
I don't know if they do or not, but I like that. I like the first picture to be if it's something like that, like a complete unbox or a CIB or whatever, something like that. I like to spread them all out on the first photo, and then the very next photo is like a close up of the game. If it's a disc, then a close up of the case. I don't know, but I mean, I try to get the spine. I try to get. What I really want to do is I want to get every exact angle of whatever it is. And if I have the time, I'll throw, like, especially if it's like a cartridge-based game, I'll throw it on TV real quick and take a snapshot of it actually playing. You know what I mean? It's just like, look, it's been tested. I mean, if it was a high-end game, like, I'd open it up and show the board. Something over $100 or something, I probably would go that extra mile to show them the board. If nothing else, to put a record of it, just so they don't try to claim that you sent them a fake board. I have a friend locally that, but he's not a great eBay seller anyway. But he was telling me that he's afraid of selling high-end games on eBay because of that reason. That I don't know, he sold somebody something like an Earthbound or something, and then they try to tell him that he had sent them a fake game, and they sent him back a fake game. As a return, they sent him a fake game back, and I was like, but you took it laying down. Like, you should have got right on the phone, and it's not worth it. Oh, okay, baller. $100 sale ain't worth it. Okay, 100. It was more than that. It was Earthbound. It was like probably $175. He's like, I just don't want to deal with it again. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I mean, a lot of that could be helped with making a lot of good pictures, making sure you get every possible scenario, every angle covered. And it's not necessarily going to win every case, but it helps. I mean, it's more evidence if they try to pull something on you. You know what I mean? Of course, the way you talk to I mean, really, to me, it's the talking to the operator is going to make all the difference. But at least if you have that in your descriptions, all the pictures you can, that helps.
Like, how detailed would you guys say that the description should be? Like on a, like, say,
buries the description now. So I find the description is not very important.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too. I think I usually just say it's in good shape. That
if you go through
ship
mine,
quickly.
It's almost all the same, very similar description. I'll just say exactly what the item is. If it's Super Mario Brothers, I'll be like, one copy of Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo in acceptable condition or good, whatever condition But pretty much, I mean, technically the rules of eBay, if it's a game and it doesn't come complete, it's only supposed to be listed as acceptable, even though nobody listens to that. But in those situations, if the cart's a little sketchy, like, maybe a ding here or there, I'll just list it as acceptable. Please see all pictures. You got any questions, message me. I ship out between this time and this time. And that's all copy and paste crap. You know what I mean? The only part that gets customized is the initial line. And usually that's a copy and paste off my header, for the listing. You know what I mean? I just copy that, drop it down, maybe adjust it a little bit, like your item description for the ad.
I'm
like
thinking
the main listing. I take that listing, drop it down into my description. So essentially, you're getting the same thing over and over. But make sure you tell them, check the fucking pictures, and if you need something, contact me before you purchase it.
Yeah.
I mean, what else are you gonna really put? I see some people's stuff, and I mean, it's like, they're writing a novel. Nobody's reading all that shit.
Yeah, like I said, it's buried. It's hard to find it on eBay, especially if you're on the mobile app. You gotta click a button that's not completely obvious. Even if you're viewing it on a desktop, it's underneath the item specifics, or sorry, the product details, which is like the pre-made one. If it's a game that they know of, like if it's in eBay's catalog. So it's I have been putting the condition in there, but I'm gonna start dropping that because it's already in the item anyway. So now all I'm going to really include is pictures are my own and taken of the actual item you will receive. That's all I'm going to include. Just for clarification.
The only thing I think I'd be specific on, I mean, unless your picture is very clean and there's nothing else in the picture.
Minor white background, there's nothing else in there.
Right. And that right there, what you said is pretty clear. Like me, sometimes I'll stick it, like there'll be games behind it. Like I'll have it. You can see games behind it. So I just make sure, listen, don't think you're going to try to tell me later on, oh, I thought I was getting all that shit. You're not. You're just getting this.
Yeah.
So that's simple. But you know what? Honestly, I've had to say I've been pretty lucky with it. I mean, I've had a couple people try to pull one over, but my ratio is pretty good. I think it kind of goes down into your listings and how you ship stuff out. I mean, my main tip is always ship fast. You can ship it fast. That really, this lady got a broken item from me, and she was still thanking me that she got it so quickly, and I was just like, "You're welcome."
Because I think I don't know if I usually take to a processing center. I don't know if that helps at all, but I do it anyway. Just to try to get.
Yeah, it will help getting it out. Like for instance, if your post office ships it to that, well, you just eliminated a step, and if it doesn't add any time for you, it's a good idea. Me, somehow, I've gotten lucky. My post office gets some sort of direct shipment thing. Like, it shouldn't, because I'm in a very small town that's adjacent to a very large town. So they ship it to their distributing center. Like, I live in this little town, and they ship it to Fresno, which is the big, 6th, 7th largest city in California, something like that, or population-wise. So they ship it to that, and then from there they ship it out. So if you kind of know your direction, but for whatever reason, I get lucky. Like I shipped something the other day, and it got all the way across the country in 2 days, and it was shipped regular mail. So I can't explain it, but I think if you can drop it off at a distributing center, that's perfect, man. Like
I find my areas or my post office. Well, I've got a couple of them in the area, and they seem to all be pretty fast, but I don't know what it is.
But one time, I'll tell you, I hate if I repeated this, but one time I actually took an item to the distributing center and dropped it off that Saturday, right? And they ship out on Saturday. And then I mailed out something in my local post office Monday, and they both went to Virginia Beach. And the one that I shipped from my post office got there first, and they both went out the same shipping speed. Like, it makes no sense. Yeah. I was just like, okay. I just stick with my own town if I can.
Interesting.
Good rapport with the people at the post office isn't a bad idea either. If they get to know you, they start to handle your packages a little nicer. They will hook you up if you're a little over on your weight. I've had them do that. They could have charged me another ounce, and they're like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, the one post office closest to me, they're nice and friendly, and they know me. I had started receiving a bunch of packages like 2 years ago from China because I was ordering from Deal Extreme and eBay and stuff, and then they'd see me all the time and eventually curious what the hell I'm buying and stuff, and then I started selling, and they're just friendly, right? They don't even ask for my ID for when I'm picking up stuff and things like that, so it's just convenient and nice that they know that I know what I'm doing too, right?
Well, I have a friend. No, absolutely, and it's good because they kind of know what you're up to. So, for one thing, you don't want to think it's something suspicious.
Yeah.
They're looking all creepy, picking up a bunch of packages or something. And all of a sudden, it's like, what's up with this dude, Unabomber or something? But I have a friend now. He sends all his through his mailman because he has like a city pickup or whatever, and the guy comes to his house. Well, he makes sure to tip the guy like. Definitely, he tips him kind of heavy during the Christmas time, and I think he tips him one other time during the year. and they give him free crap, and so this post office dude, this postman loves him. Like, he's rushing to get to this guy's house.
I've heard that.
Making sure everything gets scanned in right there as he's loading it in the truck. Like, you take care of people. I mean, it's a little bit of overhead initially, but it pays off. I mean, it's like going to Vegas. You give the first time the drink lady comes by, here's a pro tip. First time she comes by, give her like $4 as a tip. Okay? The rest of the night, you're going to give her $1 every time. But it don't matter, because she's going to keep coming back fast every time. You'll up your time from like every 30 minutes to every 15 minutes. But that's if you like to drink.
I noticed that with Panama. We went to Panama for our honeymoon. That was the same kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tip them heavy the first time. Not that $4 is heavy, but when you got a bunch of deadbeat fucking losers that don't want to tip, like, this probably seems like a fortune.
Because, I mean, more importantly, I just want to get rid of the crap. I don't want it in my house. That's why I just ship it fast.
Yeah, no, that's smart. Get it out.
All right, next section is a discussion topic or collection update. So this is from Chris and I. It's kind of repeat of what we've already done, but an update on our collection, basically. My budget after the trade-in with the PS4 is now at $96.24 in the hole for everything I have. I've still got lots of stuff to sell off, so it's not a big deal. I got stuff still listed on eBay. I'm good. It'll definitely become in the positive before I'm done, if I'm ever done. And I've still got lots of stuff. I might actually do another trip to the store and see if I can get rid of some more stuff. And there's another store in town that I got to take some stuff to, because that store I don't think would have accepted stuffed animals, which I have a bunch of Pokemon and a Star Trek pillow and a bunch of other crap. So I'm going to try another store in town and see if they'll take that stuff. Chris, any collection update? How's your NES? How's your N64?
I haven't got any. Actually, I haven't added anything to either one of them. I was hoping to add some manuals, but I ended up not getting them. But still at the same spot cart-wise. But I did get. I added a new Wii Switch game. So I added that Aces, that Super Mario Brothers. The tennis game. It's pretty good. It's good. I mean, it's a little tough. It got tough early on.
I heard it got tough quick. I heard that on a podcast.
It did, and I was like, man, fucking so much for the learning curve. But because I mean, like, you're getting to like, I don't know, like the first couple, like, I mean, I'm talking like in the during the story mode, right? Yeah. I guess they're bosses. I don't know, whatever. Your random encounters, like you go down this little path, and all of a sudden it's like, well, if you want to get through, you got to play me in a tennis match. Like, what world is that in? You know what I mean? Imagine that shit. Like, you want to go to the store, you got to fucking beat me in a heads-up tennis match real quick. Like, good thing he had his racket with him and everything, right? Like,
you just always carry your racket, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And extra balls and your tennis outfit, but no, it's polished. I mean, it's a very polished Nintendo game. It's exactly what you would expect from a first-party Nintendo title. Might not be for everybody, but I enjoyed it. It's obviously it's a sports title, but it doesn't feel like a sports title. I mean, it definitely has a Mario vibe to it. You know,
I meant to try it when they had that demo out.
Demo? Yeah, they had that free demo going.
I didn't try it at the time. I went to try it actually while I was at work, but they blocked connections to Nintendo, so I couldn't connect. It was multiplayer only. Even when you do it against a computer, it still had to connect to the servers, which sucks.
And that's pretty cool, because that was actually the first time I used their multiplayer, the online multiplayer for it. Real smooth, connected quick. You know, you go into these little tournament modes, like a 64-man tournament or whatever.
Will you pay for the online when it becomes a paid service in September?
I think I will. For it's like $20
for
a year or something. I mean, the price is, how can you beat it? Plus that you're supposed to get like free NES games and stuff like that sporadically. I don't know if you get to keep them or just get to play them or whatever the case is. I don't know. The service sounded good.
Sounds
for
like
a year.
Yeah.
If it was a $20 a month, probably not. $20 a year. I mean, that's pretty cheap.
Yep. Do you want to talk about your NES Classic variants?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I picked up another NES Classic. I wanted to get one to mod. You know, like I was lucky enough to catch one the first wave or second wave. I don't know. I got mine at a yard sale initially. Someone who bought the first wave sold me theirs at a yard sale. They used it like, of course, like everybody, we only used it once or
Yeah.
twice, or whatever. And I believe them too by the condition of everything. So I got that a long time ago, but I don't know. I'm sitting here watching everybody post them up, and I was just kind of like, oh, I wonder if Best Buy's got any. So I opened up the phone, and it's like, oh, add to cart. Oh, purchase. Oh, delivered. Okay. Like, I got it like that. I mean, it was like, come pick it up. I'm like, I'll get it tomorrow. Yeah. So when I had to go to town the next day anyway, so I went and picked it up. It was pretty smooth, but I did notice that on the box,
I've only seen this on Twitter from you and one other person. So,
well, if you look, there's like a E.
the rating, yeah,
right there. See how it says E for everybody, and then the seal is on this side. So if you look at it, the seal is on the right side, and then they added this E for everybody. Well, on the original run, it just had the seal right here, and there was no E for everybody. And I mean, there might have still been one in the back, but there wasn't one on the front.
I
So
think
that's
they're gonna
really the
change
only.
something.
That's the only variant I noticed.
There's no like copyright information difference or anything like that. I would have.
You know what? I didn't really look that hard, but there could have been. There's a lot of stuff written on the bottom of this box that I probably didn't pay much attention to. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I mean, I bought it. I didn't.
I'm curious if the device itself is any different. Like, did they remove that USB port? Everyone said it was.
Well, now see, John
easy for
Riggs tried to
modern.
get that kind of going a little. I don't know if you noticed that post.
No, I didn't see.
He had saw something that
Even if
he
they
was
reduced the memory on it or something like that, I could see.
he was under the impression that they removed the USB port for the plug and they gave it a standard plug, but
Okay.
that they didn't. It's the same.
Oh, okay.
Everything's. I didn't notice anything different. So. I think he read something somewhere or something. I don't know. I mean, obviously this isn't something you were privy to anyway, but
Yeah, I don't have either of them. So.
No, but I mean the Twitter feed.
Okay, yeah,
John
yeah.
Riggs.
Yeah,
I don't know if you follow John
know
Riggs.
if I follow him. I think I do.
He's a
I
good
know
guy.
I'd see a lot of his stuff get likes, and then it would show up for me for a while. And I
Yeah,
think I might have subscribed to him.
that's probably you follow him by default because there's like 5 people that I follow by default. I'm like, it doesn't really make no difference if I follow them or not. I see their shit every day anyway, so what's the difference?
Yeah, I think I actually started following him again because of the cereal stuff. I just find it interesting what cereals he's picking up.
Yeah, he's so cool. I got my Panic restaurant from him and my
I don't know.
Power Play 2 and every time I bought something off him, he always sent me something extra. Like
Oh, nice.
he sent me a Mickey Mouse and Letterland one time or Numberland, I think it's Numberland. He sent me that and I'm like, damn, and I look it up now, it's like an $80-$90 cart. It's like, dude, that was nice, Like at the time it was like 30 or 40, so it wasn't even like it was nothing, you know what I mean? Like I would have bought it from him. That was the thing. It was like I was already buying. He was selling off his some of his high-end stuff because he wanted to buy it was when he was really getting into repros at the time. I think he's kind of cooled on that a little bit, but at the time that was kind of like his main focus was making repros and hacking games and stuff like that. But he wanted to upgrade his label maker because his like that's something that you could really tell. Like some people have really shitty label makers, so their labels look like fucking ass.
Yeah.
So he upgraded that something. I don't know. I paid for something. My purchases paid for something that's helped the Riggs empire.
He's trying to, his museum that he's going to build eventually.
No, you're thinking of John Hancock.
Oh, John Hancock.
Yeah,
You said John Riggs.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
talking Riggs. You're thinking of Hancock. I like Hancock too. No, the guy seems like the nicest guy, so I hate to say anything negative, and it's not really negative, but I don't know what it is. But every time he says the immortal John Hancock here, it's like, dude, you're not supposed to self-gloss, dude. You're not the immortal. I'm John. Like if you're him, I'm just John.
It feels like he's forcing it because he's trying to make a brand. You know what I mean? That's what
And
it
he
feels like.
did, and
Like, he didn't
totally
feel
understand.
right doing it, but he does it to do it.
I
right.
understand,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying it's just a micro nitpick. I would do the same damn thing. I get it.
Yeah.
He got the Metal Jesus rub, and he's gonna roll with it. I get it. He should.
So, Christopher, do you track your purchases for your collection?
No, I really need to start doing that. It gets out of control. I picked up a bunch of stuff at just on eBay and too many games, so I've been collecting a lot of PC Engine, TurboGrafx stuff, and that stuff's not cheap. So half of this, a lot of the stuff that I've been selling's been going towards that. So I bought like, and I think I used a bunch of eBay bucks to buy DuckTales 2. That was not cheap.
That's a solid pickup. Don't let people convince you that that's like a. I've seen that by some people whose opinion I kind of respect, and they're just like, oh, it just feels like DuckTales 1.5 or something. It's like all fucking sequels could kind of feel that way under the same platform. Like it did Majora's Mask feel that different than Ocarina of Time? Sure, the story was, some of the mechanics, but all the shit looked the same. It still had a similar feel, similar music, similar everything. Like DuckTales 2 is a different game. I mean, fucking Super C doesn't feel much different than Contra. You're still running and shooting. Like, I didn't understand that argument. Like, I've heard that more than once, and I think DuckTales 2 is a fantastic game. I would definitely buy it.
So I think I must be going for a complete NES collection because I just bought a bunch of junk at too many games. I bought like.
Would you say you got too many games?
I bought like Raid 2020 and Ghoul School, Tombs Tombs and Treasures, and let's see.
I saw that little stack. Ghoul School, that's not a bad game. That's kind of a little. I wouldn't want to say hidden gem because I want to hear from Metal Jesus' lawyers, but I do think it's a underrated type of game, or maybe not rated, or I don't know, or maybe it's rated properly, but I never really hear anybody talk about it. But I was watching this video by Benevolent Dick on YouTube, and he did a pretty thorough review on Ghoul School, and it was pretty good. Like, the game looked like it. I mean, it was a game. You had a beginning, middle, and end. You could complete it.
Yeah, I think it probably just takes some getting used to. I think just the platform is kind of weird, I thought.
Yeah.
And I bought, let's see, was it something? Oh, was it Diatron City? I can't remember the subtitle.
That's another one that's starting to creep up a little.
Blues Brothers. Let's see.
Another
I bought
one.
Ninja Gaiden Shadow for the Game Boy. So.
I like that.
And I bought Ninja Gaiden for the for the PC Engine. So
now you know about Ninja Gaiden Shadow, right? That it's really
it's a prequel, isn't it?
Well, but it's not even really the same engine. It's actually the Shadow of the Ninja. It's based off of that engine, from what I think that's what I heard. That it's actually based on that, but they put the Ninja Gaiden name on it because it was more familiar.
It took me like 2 hours to beat it, I think, because I think you can probably beat it in like 25 minutes if you know what you're doing. The guy who sold me said, he was like, "Oh, it took me 6 hours," and I think my wife was, I beat it. It took him 6 hours, and he said he's playing while his wife's in labor and I was like, okay, well, you must. I was like, you're not very good at video games, but okay.
All right. Do you track your sales that you've been doing on eBay at all, or not really? Just
Let's see.
the way eBay does it for you.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna start. I've had some life stuff, so I need to start getting all this stuff in order. So I'm gonna start doing that.
Okay.
So.
Any interesting? Well, you said you're going for a complete NES. What are you at so far?
Yeah. What's your stats?
Let's see. I believe I have about 350 to. I think maybe 350, 360
Dude, you
games.
call yourself an NES collector? You're supposed to know.
I think last I looked, what I have in the spreadsheet's probably is about 330. So I've just been, yeah.
Nerds. Well, I used to print out. I used to have a printed out thing that had all the. Like, I printed out all the lists of all the games. You know, went some website, probably Nintendo Age or something. I printed out the list. So I used to carry it around with me and mark them off. And then it's like, then the apps came out, so I stopped carrying the list. But then when I came home, it was like this stupid ritual. Like, I would put it in the app, and then I'd have to mark it off the list. And then I would go to Nintendo Age and put it on that. And after a while, I was like, man, there's like one too many. Like, it was kind of fun. It was weird. You know, the ritual part becomes addicting, I guess. But yeah, that list is still around here. I still need to update it, I guess.
What do you use now? Just the app?
I don't use it. Yeah, I mean, the app for like a bigger library. I mean, NES, I don't need no. Even the manuals, I feel like I could I know which manuals I need, even though it's like 200. I'm pretty confident you can hand me a stack of manuals and I could pull out the ones that I need. I feel like that. Like I got a pretty good recall when it comes to that. But with like Super Nintendo, there's like a lot of bullshit titles. It's like, do I have Madden 98 or Madden 97 or Madden? I don't know which Madden I got. I don't know. I better double check.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that? There's a game that Curtis was looking for that you had that he said he didn't like the label of. What was that?
Yeah, the Artie Lightfoot.
That's what it was.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of a rare game. I was telling him, like, dude, you're not gonna find a clean Artie Lightfoot. It just the only way you're gonna find one is if it didn't actually get circulated. I mean, you can, but if it had any circulation, those Majesco, the Mexico labels, they're not good. They don't have that. I don't know what you call it, a sheen or some sort of protective coating or whatever. Like that's not on the label, so they any sort of moisture you could rub the ink off. I mean, it's not good.
I think I found one at Midwest Gaming Classic, and he didn't like the label. I think he didn't like the price. I think the label was decent, but he didn't like the price. So,
well,
oh well.
That happens when you try to help the Hollywood elite.
All right, listener questions. Tweet hashtag DD Answers if you have any questions for the next episode. And you can also ask in the Cartridge Club forums under the Dollar Dorks podcast or in the YouTube comments of the video if you're watching the video. So we have some questions this time. First one's from @MightyQDog on Twitter. That is MightyQDog. I have a large inbox game console I've been sitting on for about 5 years. Through what avenue do you recommend trying to sell it? eBay, local, Craigslist, trade-in, etc. And later on, I forget what I was talking to him. I think it was on the Hangouts. Yeah, on the Hangouts, he was talking to other people and said it's actually the Skylanders Giants Blue Nintendo Wii console bundle pack.
I have that same bundle. I know exactly which one he's talking about.
He still has it sealed, never been opened.
Well, that's a great thing. I would go eBay. I mean, initially, I think that's your best bet. I mean, you're going to get a broader audience. He's in the States, so he doesn't have to deal with some of the stuff that a Canadian seller would. That would be my first thing, would be eBay. You're going to get competitive price. I mean, unless you could find like a local game store that's going to give you a decent trade-in. I mean, you're not going to want to go 50% on something like that.
No.
I mean, if you can get a 70 to 80% trade-in or something, and you're okay with that, then yeah, that's a great option. But if you can't, I'm putting that on eBay. Yeah. I'll set that on there. I'll find what the market is. I'll either match it, beat it, or go a little bit above it. I mean, it's that simple. Something like that. I mean, and I imagine by the way his game setup looks, exactly. I'm sure that box is in immaculate condition. Yep. You know what I mean? And so he could command a top dollar for whatever that top dollar is. I don't know what the top dollar is on a Skylander set.
I looked it up and now I forget. I swear it was like freaking expensive.
Well, then that's why you
I
really want to.
Seeing.
Yeah, then that's why you want to go with eBay, because the person who buys that's going to be a collector. They're gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's your best chance to get that audience. I mean, I don't know. You could put a Nintendo Age post or something. I don't know how deep he is into those subcultures, but. I would go with eBay.
I'm seeing there's refurbished for 300. This isn't sold listings though. I should definitely do sold listings.
Yeah, definitely check the sold.
Like there's an open one sold for 400 Canadian.
All right. So they're right off the bat.
TrendyNet shows 521 Canadian.
Yeah, that's an eBay item. I'm eBaying that all day. I'll pay my fees. I'll make sure I ship it properly, pack it really good, Eric. You know what to do.
Put the box in the box.
Yeah, box in a box in a box if you can. Like whatever, put buffers, whatever you can to make sure if a ding hits that outer box, it's not going to affect that inner box.
Yeah, I know he was talking about trying to offset the cost of that frame meister. I think that would do it.
Oh, 100%. He'd probably be. I don't know. What did he pay? 500 or for the? I forget.
It's like $400 to $500.
Something like that for the frame. Yeah, he'll probably have a profit off of it when he gets done.
I'm actually not seeing any of that console sold. Sold.
But
so that means.
But that doesn't matter.
The market is up to him. Like he can set the price. Is what I mean.
Exactly. That's my point. Is if there's a open market that's at 500 or close to 500. Yeah. I mean, sealed market. I'm not taking less than 6.
This listing says brand new, sold on April 30th. but the pictures are clearly not brand new. It is open. They opened it up, take the pictures, and the box doesn't even look like the right box unless the back of it just says Wii on it. But I don't think so. No, that's not even the right box.
No.
It's a
Was it
blue
like-
console in a white box console, like a white console box.
He should have clicked new other or something like
Yeah,
Yeah, he.
but he still sold it for a good amount of money. So
Well, he might have had a new console. I don't know what that description says. I mean, you could have a new console that's never been played, and you're throwing in something else. I don't really know but with Eric, I'm sure his is immaculate, clean, and so command a high price. Or you could even go beyond the market and throw our best offer. Like, let's say you think the market is $550 to $600. Put it up for $700 or best offer. Let it sit there for a month and see what happens.
yeah,
Get a taste.
He
I mean,
did
it just
say he
depends
wanted
on
to
how
get
quick
his-
you want the money back.
he said he wanted to build up his feedback. Really, with an item like that, I'm sure
Nah,
his
it's not
eBay feedback is already pretty good.
Well, but that's not an item that you build up feedback with. The best way to build up feedback is to sell.
That's what I mean. He wants to sell off a bunch of stuff first before listing that.
Before do that. I don't think it's gonna make a difference.
I don't
when
think
you got
it's
an item
necessary.
that good. When you got an item that good, you're gonna sell it to a high end customer, and because it's not like you know what I mean. Think about who's buying a sealed Wii. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna want.
I was
It's
gonna say
probably gonna be. It's
he's
gonna be
either
somebody
gonna
who's
have a better
ridiculous.
job like bringing it to a swap and trying to find some guy, but I kind of doubt it. But that's the
Who's
right
in the
place
market
to find
for
a
a sealed-
complete Wii collector, though.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, eBay, you got millions of users. You got people sitting in there that don't have conventions nearby. That I don't know. I mean,
That's
you
true.
could take it to a convention. I just don't think you're going to get your top value out of
Sure.
it, though.
Yeah, they're not there to buy.
No, and you're not going to sell it to a vendor at full price. They might trade you
exactly.
trade value for it, but even then, they're going to still want a little something.
I was thinking if you knew a vendor that was a Wii collector. Hell, what about those auctions at the fucking at those things?
Yeah, I mean that's a possibility too. I mean he has. I mean Portland, but that's way down the line for him. I guess they're going to. Aren't they going? Yeah, they're going
they
to
just said
the
they're
one
going
in
to
Arizona,
Whatever
right?
that is, yeah.
Game On Expo.
Yeah, they just said they're going.
Yeah, I think I would list it on eBay for high, put it up best offer, and see what happens.
And I wouldn't wait to get it listed either. I wouldn't wait about your feedback before listing it because it's going to take a
Hell
while
no.
to sell. That's a long tail item that's going to take a while to sell.
No, because I mean, here's the thing: put it up high, let it sit there. In the meantime, if you still want to try build up feedback, go ahead.
Yeah, at least it's there for someone
it
to see
listed.
it and want it and
Right.
contact you if they want to buy it for
Not only
less.
that,
I mean,
you're setting the market. And other people who come along are going to see your listing and they're going to mimic it or try to beat it. But either way, you're at least getting a market price out there, so you at least test the market. You might put it up for $700 and it sells instantly, and then you feel like you left money on the table. You don't know, but if you're happy with the price,
yeah.
go for it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how diehard sealed Wii U collectors are, especially that
Not
Skylander
even Wii U,
set.
it's just Wii.
A Wii
Yeah.
Skylander set?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had Skylander with the Wii. Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
regular Wii Skylander set.
Yeah,
Oh.
Wii console. No, it's the console. A blue
Right.
limited edition Skylanders Giants console. Yeah.
Yeah, that blue limited edition console is pretty desired.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
this
the
is
blue, the
sealed.
red, the yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because see, I got when I said I had it, I have the Skylanders Wii U, and I still got that crap sitting around here somewhere, but I never even used that Skylander. Like, I mean, that might have appealed to me if I was like 8 or something, but
My son loves Skylanders. We have a shitload of them.
yeah, I
we have,
get
like,
it.
100.
I understand. I mean, I got amiibo, so I get it.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. All right. So next question is from It's Rocket Sauce. Ryan, he says, I have a question about shelves. I know it's not really saving money. Just curious how you guys store your collections. Looks like Chris has a custom shelf behind him for the records.
Records.
Records. Oh, records. Haha, that makes more sense.
Come on, you're
Yeah.
Canadian. Read it like a Canadian.
You want to answer
You
the
don't say
question or
record- you don't say
harass the
records,
Canadian?
Records.
You want to harass the Canadian?
Of course.
the answer. Shelves? What do you do?
Um,
You had a video,
I like
or you had a picture of a custom one.
Well, I built the one to my right, and I built the one to my left. The one behind me, I actually bought at a video game, a bookstore, who had bought it from a rental store that was going out of business. So this one actually used to be like a 80s VHS rental store. But the other two I built, I say if money's not a concern and you don't really care if it's super fancy, don't go buy a mahogany wood, go buy the cheap shit, buy some stain it, put it together, stain it, measure. I went to Home Depot, and I don't know what you got in your area. I'm assuming Rocket Sauce, they probably have Home Depots where you're at.
Milwaukee, right? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well then of course they have them then. They'll cut it for you. They'll give you like two free cuts, and you typically don't need per board. So if you bought 5 boards, you're going to get 10 free cuts. Now, granted, they go for those boards, but they'll give you 2 free cuts, and then after that, they're like 25 cents a cut or something. So if you needed to, let's say you had a 10-foot board and you wanted to make your shelf 6 feet high, but you wanted 3-foot shelves, and so you might need an extra cut in there somewhere or whatever. They'll, whatever. It's still, they get it all done. Make sure you watch them measure it. Make sure you remeasure it yourself. Go with a tape measure. So once you got the boards and they're all cut, get yourself some wood screws, put it together. And as far as measuring it goes, all I did was stuck with basic stuff: 3 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet. You stick with the basics. Unless you have a custom corner that is 3.5 feet, or you want it to, I guess it just depends on your space. You could customize it to the space.
But I don't know.
Right, but he might have a space that is 5 feet wide, and he wants a 5-foot wide shelf or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, just figure out your measurements. Make sure you write them down. Double check. It's like the old adage, right? Measure twice, cut once. So, you know what I mean.
Have you seen Musty's videos at all?
I have. I saw his new setup. I like that.
Yeah. So
that's not. That's not for me, but I do like it. I think it's really cool. It's very functional, and
yeah. He did the same thing. Canadian Retro did that same kind of shelf.
Right. I like it. I guess it just depends on what you're looking for and what you're going for. I prefer the more traditional bookshelf style, but what I liked about building my own is I got to customize the shelves, and it's not. I don't like waste of space. I don't like a big, between the game and the end of the shelf. I don't want a bunch of space there, because then I end up doing crap like this. I start piling shit in front of it. You know what I mean?
Or doubling the depth. That. I don't like when everybody doubles the game's depth.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Too deep.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I would suggest making sure you bolt it to your wall, fasten it to your wall or whatever. That might go without saying, but I don't know. I would.
I have this shelf right here behind me, which is the only one that has my collection in it at all, because I don't have that many games. But it is.
You really don't.
I have as many games as you have NES games, or less. Less.
Yeah.
But this is a DVD shelf. It literally is just DVD depth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one I picked up for free or $5. I can't remember if it was $5 or for free, but around the corner from here. I've just was watching on Kijiji, and I picked it up, I don't know, maybe about a year ago. And it works good for pretty much everything. I don't like how NES and loose SNES and loose Genesis games don't fit great on it. I guess SNES isn't bad. Genesis and N64 then. But everything else is pretty good on it. Yeah. PlayStation 1 games stick out a little bit. But it doesn't matter, because it already has the sides a little bit longer than the actual shelves are. So, yeah. Christopher, what do you think?
I just use media shelves, so they're adjustable. They have a bunch of pegs, so I think I can fit like 6. Well, if I could probably fit like 3/4 of Chris's NES library on one set. On one set, I think I have about 8. I think about 900 physical games. So I have to buy 2 of them. So
I'll tell you another thing I liked about building my own is the height, because it seems like all the store-bought shelves are about 5 feet, maybe 6 feet at the most, right? 5, 6.
Yeah, mine's about 6. Yeah.
Right, and then so what ends up happening is on the top. What ends up happening? You just start piling
Yeah,
a bunch of fucking boxes or whatever, and it can look cool if you do it right, but I don't know. I was trying to eliminate that. Then my last shelf, I felt like, man, I should have probably made it like 6 inches shorter, but whatever.
Yeah, I think I have pixel art on one of them, and I think I have a bunch of like my NT Mini and my Super NT box on them, so because I wasn't sure what to put on top of them.
Mine's a bit shorter. I don't even know how high that is, but 4.5 feet, something like that. But I have some interesting things on it, like a Balls bottle, which is an energy drink converted into a lamp, and then I have a Monty Python ale bottle, and then some. Well, that has a transformer on it for now, but that's gonna move. And then I have a 3D printed Sub-Zero mask that I 3D printed, but that's all on mine for now.
You have a 3D printer?
Yeah, it's sitting in the garage. I haven't used it in like 3 years. Yeah.
You know what you should 3D print? You'd make yourself a cool little amount of cash. Is the missing doors on my Sharp NES TV? There's dudes who constantly talk about 3D printing them in this group that I'm in, and nobody ever does it. And these dudes are hungry, dude. You could sell them for $100 a piece. No joke.
The hard part is getting them, doing them.
You have to get the hard part would be getting one to copy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, supposedly some of these dudes have put these schematics out there. I don't know how it works on your end. I just know that some guys have measured them and have it ready to print, and nobody's doing it. And I'm like, just fuck. I don't know how much it costs to 3D print.
I know. I have a buddy who has a coworker that has an army of 3D printers. He 3D prints quadcopter frames, and he sells them. And he would be a perfect person for it because he already has like 8 3D printers ready to go.
Like, I mean, it's a limited appeal overall, obviously, because I mean, there's only maybe 1,000 of these TVs still in existence. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, on Nintendo Age, I think it's up to like 250 or 240 registered, but so it's not this huge market.
Still,
but
I mean, print off 100 of them and you sell them off.
And you make $1,000. You know what I mean?
The problem with 3D printed stuff is you need to sand it down and clean it up.
But some of these, I would sand my own down and clean. I mean, if that was the caveat, like, I got to send this to you, but you got to do a little bit of work on it, I can live with that. I can paint it. I can do all that. Like, I mean, it'd just be nice to have it. I almost bought another TV just to take the door off, but I couldn't get a ride to it. There was a guy who was selling I have a friend who lives in Victorville, and there's another guy. I mean, I guess I could say he's a friend now. At the time, I didn't really know him that well, but he had tipped me off that somebody was selling another Sharp TV, and I looked at the picture, and it had the damn door. Well, there's 2 doors that I'm missing, but I had one of the 2 doors, and he only wanted $400 for the TV. So, like, right away, I messaged the one friend. I'm like, dude, would you buy a Sharp NES TV without the door for $300? And he's like, I would. And I was like, okay, dude. Like, as I break it down,
this is like the flap at the front, right? That's what you're talking about.
Right, the one that covers. There's 2 doors. There's one that covers the game. And then there's one above that covers like the volume switch, the little knobs and all that. But the main door people want is the one that covers the game because, that'll help prevent dust getting into it.
Okay.
Anyway, but he was out of town and he's like, dude, I like there's nothing he could do. And I was like, man, it was a long drive for me to go do it. And I'd have to cover him. And then how am I going to get the TV back to him? And I was like, it didn't work out.
I think I've only ever seen that console at like conventions. Never see this.
Yeah, I got lucky. I found it.
I'm just looking at it to see the size of the door and stuff like that.
You know what, though? Yeah. I imagine there has to be some blueprint thing for it somewhere. Like maybe in the owner's manual or something. Like there has to be something that breaks down. I don't know.
Yeah, otherwise you need a 3D model of it. And you can make one, but it's not too hard of a part to make. The hard part is the little hooks would hook it in. Yeah, that's better for someone to do with a vacuum former or something like that, or what's the injection molding. But that requires a die or the negative. Anyway, this is way not interesting for some people. Neat, but I don't plan on 3D printing it anytime soon. My 3D printer just had too many issues. It was too early of a model. All right, so. That's all I have for shelves. For controllers and stuff, I have those just standard 1x1 cube shelves. That's all.
Mhm.
Next question was from RetroPixel. I'm paraphrasing here because he didn't really form an actual question, but he said, have you ever considered selling Pelican cases or Road Ready cases? Just because he found some recently. He found one of each recently. The Road Ready case was like a turntable hard case for traveling, and the Pelican cases are like the waterproof plastic for camera gear and stuff. And he found a good deal on the Pelican one, and he found the Road Ready one for free. So he's gonna flip that.
These are great
locally.
price. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was just sitting on top of a dumpster. He said.
That's
As he was
the best
walking
price.
to work, I
Yeah,
think
dude,
he said.
I'll consider selling anything. I don't care what it
Yeah.
is. Like if it's costs more than I bought it for, then or I could sell it for more than I bought it. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah,
Like
the Pelican cases
mean-
go for like one that could hold like let's say a DVD player with
Yeah.
padding. Those sell for like $250.
right. Well, I mean, the thing is like,
Yes.
all right, let's say he didn't get one for free and then get one for really cheap. Then I would say obviously go into something like that cautiously. I mean, you don't want to go overextend yourself and spend money that's going to take, because that item might be a 6-month to an 8-month item on eBay. You don't know. It could be something that lasts for 20 minutes. You put it up and it sells, but it could be something that you don't sell for 6 months. It just, how hot is the market for it? But if you're not putting any money into it or very little money into it, and if you got the place to store it, hell yeah, I'd put that up.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna check eBay
My brother.
now.
Yep,
Yep.
my brother worked for Pelican cases for a while. he just
Does he
changed
have any
jobs.
left over?
He was pissed because I think his father-in-law kept asking him to buy them for him, and then he'd give them away. And then my brother'd have to buy them, buy him more, and he's getting pissed about it. He thought he was gonna get in trouble.
That's funny. Now I hear good things about them, like they're well made, waterproof, freaking crazy. Like even the little tiny ones for just like a digital camera size sell for like $50 to $80. It's ridiculous.
Oh, they'll make the foam inserts any way you want. So like they'll mill them, and I think we have. I work in the biotech industry, and they have these viral filtration vendors come with those. Like they have all their balances and their filters and their tubing, all their apparatuses in there. So they'll customize them for any application.
And if you get them like just as they come, they also have the removable foam. You can design it however you want with the little squares and pull it out however you want. Neat. Yeah, I've been looking for a Pelican case for my quadcopter, but we'll see if I ever find one or not.
They're not.
Especially
Hey, didn't you crash that thing or?
I did. It went in the water. It was some weird software bug that I'm waiting for the developers to look into. But it started falling down, and I had this issue twice before, and reported it and tried to get them to look into it. They were still looking into it when this happened again, and I was over top of water. I got it to the shore that I was on because I was flying over top of a small creek or river. But I just about a foot into the water, like from the shore. I couldn't get it far enough, and it went down into the water and it flipped over. But I quickly grabbed it out. I heard it reboot itself because the lights went off and it started booting up again. So I pulled the battery off right away, which I should have done already by this point.
Sure.
But pulled the battery out, took it all home, left it in my car in the hot sun for while I was at work for the rest of the day. And took the battery in, and the battery seemed to be completely fine. And then took the quadcopter, took the propellers off of it, and took it home. And that night, put the battery on. Actually, put the other battery on, the one that didn't go in the water, and put it on and booted it up and connected to it with my phone and with the controller. And there was nothing wrong at all. I didn't try flying just because I didn't want to go to control if one of the sensors got wet. So
Right.
just yesterday, yesterday. It was American 4th of July, and my boss said everybody go home early because we had no real people calling in. But I, on my way home from work, just took out the quadcopter and flew it for a quick 5 minutes in the middle of a park with no one nearby, and it flew fine.
Now, let's say, are you the only one who flies your helicopter?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's say you had a partner and they were flying your helicopter and you were going up to like a yard sale, you were doing some hunting or something. How high do they? I mean, how low or high? I mean, like what kind of distance is it? Like, I think that might be a cool angle on my new yard sale channel.
It would look awesome, but everyone would hear. Well, like, if you fly high enough, they can't hear.
Well,
I
right,
had it
but
over
how
my
zoom
parents'
in does
house.
it for
Sorry?
my life in yard selling? If I had my own drone that followed me around and like could zoom in, can you get a good zoom?
It doesn't
Like
zoom
if I
at
had
all.
like if I
There's
had
no
my
zoom.
own
It's just
little,
a static camera.
it's just a static
But
camera.
it can aim
that's so-
straight down or almost straight down.
Okay.
I had it at 200 feet up over top my parents' house, and I could almost get. Well, I got their whole house and some of the cars around. It would,
Yeah,
it would
but
look
were
really
you
cool.
able to
but-
make out anything that's on the ground? I mean, like, can you
Yeah,
see
it's-
people's
it's
face
1080.
or?
It's pretty good.
I-
looks good.
It looks like they do sell drones with zoom cameras. They're just expensive.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah,
expensive
because there
stuff.
was this guy who had one at the SoCal convention, and he had the drone flying around, and but he was controlling it with his phone, or
Yeah, mine can
it
control
was maybe
from
it's like
the
an
phone
iPad
or a
something.
controller. I like the
right?
controller because you got physical sticks that you're controlling, so you
Yeah,
can feel where they are.
I'd like that better.
Yeah. I got it originally. Well, I actually got it off I think Let Go or Garage Sale. I forget which one now, but one of those apps that are some guy had posted it saying make an offer, and I hate when people do that. So I looked at the ad for about a week. Every once in a while, I'd just look at it and see if he updated, see if it sold, and nothing was changing. So then I finally messaged him and said, "How much are you asking?" And he said, "Make me an offer." I'm like, "I don't know what you want, and I don't want to pay much. I'm not even going to make an offer." I literally said those words. And he said, "Well, make an offer." This thing sells in the store. It sells for like $600 or $500.
Right.
500. He didn't have any of the stuff that came with it, but I didn't know that at the time for sure. But I said 200. He said, "Sure." I'm like, God damn it, I should have offered less.
Left money on the table. Yeah.
So I drove the 30 minutes to go check it out. Met the guy at his place, and he couldn't get it to pair to my phone. He didn't know why it wasn't working. He hadn't done it. His kid had done it, but his kid was at school.
Uh-oh.
So I said, because I know this thing is also controllable by your hand, and there's a camera, and you can take it off in your hand and all this stuff. I didn't know all the details how to do it. I just knew that you didn't need to connect a phone to fly it.
Right.
And I thought maybe I have to reset it or some weird crap. Who knows? I went to try my work iPhone because I was using an Android device, and the iPhone wouldn't download the app because my work limits how much you can download over data, as I found out on the way home. But he said, "You know what? I'll just drop the price. You do it for $150. Here's my phone number. You can call me. You know where I live. If there's any
Yeah.
problems, let me know. But I know it was
Yeah.
fine." I'm
That's
like,
cool.
$150. I can't. say
Actually,
no.
that's the price I was thinking to offer him when you told
Yeah.
me what it went
I wish
for
I would
and
have offered
everything.
150 to begin with, and then
Yeah.
you would drop to 100.
Yeah, exactly. That was probably the number I would have went with, because I think I don't know. I have a theory on the way certain numbers sound, and like 200, almost coming from 400, like to me was inviting another 100 up, whereas maybe a 50 number might invite a 50 up. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any
Yeah.
sense, like they have to counter. I'm trying to lead them into a counter if they're
And he
going to
didn't even
counter at all.
That's the funny thing.
I know. That was even that.
If he had
would've-
countered, I would have just said no, because I was like
Right.
that was my number. That was I was the
Right.
max I was
Yeah, that's
doing.
true. I mean,
And I shouldn't even come in with that number because it was
no,
my max.
not if that's your high max.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it worked out. So
Yeah.
150 for it's fantastic.
So then I went out and I found a controller and another battery for, I can't remember how much I paid, but way less than retail. And I think it was 170. But then the guy had some other stuff. I bought it with the case and some extra propellers for another $20. And long story short, the controller works really well. I like it. Yeah.
This would have been an excellent topic for my sidebar and beer channel. My other channel, sidebars and beer.
Sidebars and beer and video games.
No, just sidebars and beer. It's a very original name, original channel. Get a co-host.
What about NES Classic and beer?
What's that?
NES Classics
NES
and
Classic
beer.
and beer. Yeah.
All right. Well, the next section is suggested content. Anything you want to suggest our listeners check out? YouTube video channel, podcast, game, movie, TV show, etc. Starting with Christopher.
The Transformers and Beer podcast. No, I'm not gonna. no, just because we've been beating up on Joe.
Joe's my favorite, though. I mean, I like Bill a lot. I like them both. Actually,
Yeah,
I don't know.
too.
Bill's probably my favorite. I don't know. Maybe Joe.
I was gonna say the Retronauts podcast. I really enjoy.
Yeah. Classic.
And let's see. Game Dave, if you like he's kind of a goofy guy. He's
I
sort
like
of
Dave a lot. Yeah.
I've met him a couple of times at Too Many Games. He's a good guy. He has really good high quality. He has really good video production on his stuff. He's real goofy.
He is.
Goofy's good. All right. I never wrote anything down because I never looked ahead in the agenda, and I have no idea. So I'm gonna say, STC Pod. Start to continue podcast, where Bill and Joe are that we keep talking about. Bill's been on the podcast. Bill was on episode 1 of this podcast.
Yeah, see, I'm bummed that I missed that. Too bad. You
We'll
got to
redo
come
it.
back on, Bill.
Let's redo it. Yeah, we got to have Bill
Yeah.
on again. Don't worry.
Act like it wasn't. That was the old.
I invited
podcast.
Bill
We
on, but
re-
it was on the topic of his his problems with eBay sales. So he didn't really want to just talk about all his problems.
when do we stay on topic?
We'll have him again. Yeah.
He could have him talk about, I guess, his adventures in, I guess, in Ontario, I guess, going to flea markets and yard sales and stuff.
Yeah, he's got that flea market, I think, twice a year. Seems pretty decent. In Barrie.
The flea market's only 2 times out of the whole year?
Yes.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. We don't have any here either, unless you want to go to like one of those flea markets that's basically just a big warehouse divided into little booths. Those are the only flea markets we have around here. And those are always way overpriced.
I could literally go to a swap meet every single day.
Can I come?
You can. I mean, I'm not saying they're all top notch, but I can go to one every day. There's one every day.
There are no swap meets around here. There is a giant garage sale coming up around here soon, but
You got to get in on that.
like once a year these things are. Well,
Have your
the giant
wife-
garage sale's a 45-minute drive away.
Well, have your wife fly the copter,
Yeah.
get some footage, and we'll incorporate it in one of my videos.
I'm just checking how far away that is now that I want to know.
Yeah, our flea markets are kind of
40 minutes away.
kind of meh, like in DC. So
Do you have indoor flea markets where you're at?
yeah, there's one I like to go to that's twice a year. I usually get really good deals there. I think I got like a PS3 Fat for like $10 and some other stuff. But yeah, I think that's that. They have one that's in the fall and one October, and then another one that's in April. So they do that one twice, and then we have another one that's at the first Saturday of every month from like April to November. So.
Cool. You got any suggested content there, Chris?
Currently, like on television, I'm watching the World Series of Poker, so I'm watching that right now. The main event's on right now, and they're showing it live on ESPN. On Netflix, I watched the second season of The Toys That Made Us. It was pretty good.
World Series
Yep,
of
there
Poker
you go.
on
Yep, all
PS2
in.
or PS3. Look at the
PS3,
price.
yeah.
Look at the price I paid.
You paid $4 for that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sells
Is
for
that
20.
good? Oh,
It's
okay.
the only poker game on PS3. Sells for 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something I would have looked over.
I've got 2
Is that-
copies of it because I picked it up recently. One from a
Poker
store and
games?
one from Kijiji.
Poker games were so mass produced, like in 2004 through 2000
This
and
is
I don't know 8. Yeah,
it's
2008, 2009, 2010. Like
I've
ever.
only ever seen it twice, and I bought it both times now.
That's okay.
I
Well, there's a
posted
good
it on
tip.
eBay, though.
So I would say I finished up the second season of The Toys That Made Us. It was pretty good. I think I preferred the first season, but that's only because I really liked that Star Wars episode. And the G.I. Joe episode was really good too. Transformer episode really good. So definitely, if you're into toys, even if it's a casual thing, you definitely want to check out the series. I mean, you don't have to watch every episode either. I mean, like, there's some on Barbie and Hello Kitty, and those turned out to be interesting too. The
Yeah,
He-Man
yeah,
one
right?
was good.
That
They were all
Transformers
good.
one was good. That was
Oh, yeah.
really informative. It
Yeah.
was neat.
Well, I mean,
I wish the Lego
even
one was a little bit, I don't know, more about the actual Lego. I don't know what it was about that. It was like a lot of the
Yeah.
history.
It felt like it was more about the company.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but I think, well, I don't know. I found it an interesting angle, but I know what
I
you're
did
saying.
too. It was interesting.
I
It
got
just wasn't what I hoped would be when I went
Right.
into it, right?
Yeah. I thought the Hello Kitty one, even though like I'm not even remotely into that IP or whatever, but I thought it was interesting to kind of see their history of it, how the guy was initially just some, is this a guy trying to make items look cute,
Yeah.
essentially? Like he had like cups and shoes and he put little strawberries on it and he was successful with it.
Yep.
So he tried to like come up with like this next cute pop culture item for Japan.
Yeah, it's pretty neat the way
And-
you went about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and then the fact that the cat is like, I mean, like, I don't know, like, wasn't really named Hello Kitty. It was Kitty White. And,
Yeah.
and the hello part was just random. It was just kind of part of the line. Like, everything was going to be hello this, hello that, That was kind of interesting. But,
Yeah.
and like, that was like the last, I was, you get your pecking order, how you want to watch the episodes. And it was like, oh, I guess I'll watch the Hello Kitty one. But turned out to be pretty good.
We watched it in the
Um,
order that they are. But my wife really liked
now-
the Hello Kitty one. Or my wife really likes Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
So she liked the Hello Kitty one. I think I actually found it more informative or interesting than she did, though. But because she had forgot it even was on. We were looking at Netflix, and she's like, "Did we see that episode?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's the Hello Kitty one." Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really interesting. The Barbie one, they were all really good, actually. But, and then on YouTube, and I mean, this is no secret, but anybody who was a fan of Retro Liberty probably knows by now that Aaron has relaunched kind of another channel called Superhero Game Squad. His content is different, but I mean, it's still the same. Like, I mean, he's the same, but like the initial videos were different, but recently he's gone on to put back on the NES Pursuit. So if that's kind of what you liked Retro Liberty for, just the NES Pursuit, like their Game Chaser videos, they're putting them up. Matter of fact, there's a brand new one up right now. So he's put up like 3 in like the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So, give him a shot. You want to check it out. NES Complex too. He's very, a lot more regular now with his videos. I know a lot of us kind of, well, it feels like it. Maybe our perspective's off, but it feels like a lot of us kind of got connected because of NES Complex, and we all kind of ended up liking the same channels early on, and it seemed like some of them were. I mean, that's how I met, like Sean, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ryan, yeah.
Right, and well, hell, that's how I met Rip, because he replied to me tweeting to NES Complex. So it's like these kind of like these early channels. I mean, not real early, but these 2011, 2012 channels kind of sparked like our little community here. So you guys go give them a view. If you haven't gone back to their channels recently, go give them a like. Share it, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think was the NES Complex. I think Chris, he said he spent like 100 hours on that. Was
Yeah.
the link to the
Yeah.
past video? I believe it.
Oh,
It's
I
very-
do
it's
too.
very good quality.
Oh, you could tell even in his short videos, he meticulously edits them, and I think that's the other thing to say about Aaron as well. I mean, whether you like it or you don't, nobody could deny the amount of editing that he puts in. Like some of those NES Pursuit videos I would just sit there and like, I don't know much about the process of it all, but I was like, God, that had to be hard.
I don't know how. From seeing him on the Game Chasers, I don't know how he can sit still long enough to edit anything.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely feels a little antsy. Well, there was one point he was saying like he sleeps like 4 hours a day or something. Like I was just like, damn,
Some people are wired that way.
I take a nap.
Take a nap just hearing them, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, next section, plugs. We're all done. Plug it up. Chris is at CWR2 on Twitter. That's CWR and the number 2. And also on Instagram. And Christopher, as we've been calling him, is Chris as well, but he is Bassguy 654 on Twitter. And I am Derek, Two Dorks, TWO Dorks on YouTube. We're all kind of met through the Cartridge Club. That's cartridgeclub.org, community of gamers, content creators, and collectors. And thank you for listening, and thank you to Chris for, again, helping me out with this, and to Christopher for being our guest.
Sure.
Jane.
Sure thing.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
You know how I am.
I know. That's why I like to fucking say shit like that, because I know it fucks with your OCD. Let's go off script. Let's talk about you. So you're like the pretty girl that dances this month, huh?
Apparently.
That's what I was saying, too.
I went through that a couple of months ago. I was
Everything.
Like, shit. I'm like on 3 podcasts. And I was like, I don't know. I've never heard of them, but
Okay.
it could be
I
something.
know I've
in the
seen
vault.
people with microplay receipts. Oh, there goes Chris.
Uh-oh.
Uh-uh.
Hello.
Hey,
Dropped out.
I guess. Did you guys stay in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, then nobody will know. Just edit that part out. Pause for edit.
Yeah.
Like it never happened.
Chris, I see those NES Classic controllers behind you. At least you can get them. It looks like you can get them now, this time around.
If you have an EB or a, if you have an EB or a GameStop near you, I would go check them. They all got deliveries today.
Because I just got my NES Classic this time around just from Best Buy.
Right, but the controllers, they're all coming. They all got a shipment of controllers today. I mean, I didn't know that going in. I just went there randomly. But the guy's like, let me check. And he found like 3 other stores that got controllers. He goes, I know we all got a shipment of something today. Let me go in the back. And he goes in the back and he comes back with 1. And I'm like, fucking A. And then, so after we were starting to ring up, I'm like, well, do you got any more? And he goes, yeah. I was like, well, let me get another one then. He goes, all right. So he went and grabbed another one. And I bought them. And then I go out to the car and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I could trade this or something. Like, I'm not even looking for like the flipping, scalping, and all that. I mean, if any scalping, it'd be a trade scalp. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, you got any more? He goes, I have 1 more. I was like, you know what? Let's go grab it. I don't know why I didn't just take them all. I mean, for $10 a piece, like, I honestly feel like they're underpriced. Like,
Yeah, it's
$10.
kinda
I'm
what Bill was
surprised they hit
saying,
that
too.
price point.
Bill was kind
I-
of just saying the same thing.
I think it should be $20 or $15 at a minimum. But I think 20 is actually a fair price. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
compared to any other controller, then again, most controllers are wireless when you're talking like Xbox, PlayStation, and shit.
right, but if you went back to PS1 era when they had cords, or PS2 era when they had, or fucking
Yeah.
Dreamcast, they weren't under $20. And granted, I understand maybe there's more buttons involved, but it's not the point. The point is you need a
Yeah.
controller.
Well,
to
then you
work the
compare it to
system.
the Hori Switch controllers, those wired ones. Those are 30.
Right.
30 Canadian.
I just feel like $10 is a
Maybe
steal, and no
40.
wonder they're always sold out. Because
Yeah.
I mean, a guy like me walks in and buys one, and he's like, $12. Give me fucking all of them. You know.
Because well, the SNES Classic came with what, 2 controllers, and it was 80. So.
And it
So.
came with 2, and the price was higher, and totally understand the logic behind their price point. They essentially just charge you for the other controller at a
Yeah.
$20 rate, but you can't even find those loose. The Super Nintendo controllers, I've never seen them.
Yeah,
I've never seen these until today either, other than online.
Yeah, I was just surprised they weren't 20. The NES ones.